Welcome back to the Night Shift Podcast, episode 5. A whole month. It's our month anniversary. I'm your host, Brian Markley, at BriDollarSign on Twitter. Once again, we actually sound good this week. I think we sounded alright. I actually didn't listen to last week's
It wasn't
episode.
too bad.
Okay. Well, the voice you're hearing there is my one co-host, Bailey Gary.
You can find me on Twitter at bgary24, capital B, capital G.
And then my other co-host, Mr. Jordan Wakefield himself.
How are we doing, everybody? It's at jwakefield98 on Twitter.
I'm glad we made it a whole month and you finally got your Twitter
It's
handle
funny
right.
because when you first went to go throw him the oop to it, he thought it was coming and he stuttered over it.
Oh, so I threw him off a little bit?
Yeah,
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, you kind of threw a crossover.
Well, you threw the oop so fast to Bailey, I was like, all right, it's coming. And you
Because we're
paused.
sitting kind of weird because we're
not in the usual
we're
setup?
kind of in a triangle. So Bailey's
Yeah.
directly, he's the top of the triangle. And then I'm on the left and Jordan's on the right. So I couldn't see what Jordan's reaction to it was potentially. But
It was
yeah, yeah. He said before, he was like, okay, JWake98 Twitter. Okay, all right, I'm ready. So,
But you just messed it up now too. You said J-Wake.
isn't that what it is?
No, it's Jay Wakefield.
Oh, okay. Nobody can get Jordan's fucking Twitter handle right. That's the moral of the story. Yes, this is the Night Shift Podcast. We made it a whole month, like we said. We started June 1st, and it's June 29th, and so here we are. We got a pretty good show today, I think. I'm gonna throw out there. We got a good mix of everything once again. Some good stuff to talk about. We got music to talk about. We got sports to talk about. We got video games to talk about, and I'm going to put it out here first so you don't have to worry throughout this podcast. We are going to talk about The Last of Us 2. We've all beaten it. We all have different takes on it. I will say we're going to talk about that at the very end of the show, and I will give plenty of heads up when we're going to spoil the fuck out of The Last of Us 2, because I know, shout out Omar, he's still playing it. We don't want to spoil it for anybody, but we also want to talk about it because it's good podcast material, and it's been out for a little over a week now. So, I mean, if you're not normal human beings like we are, and you beat it already, and you want to hear what we think about it, then, or if you don't care, I guess, if you weren't planning on playing it, you just want to listen anyway, you can do that as well. So that'll be at the end of the show. I'll give plenty of heads up. You don't have to worry about it. You can leave the podcast then, and then come back to it then when you finish it. But to start, what are we listening to? Jordan, what are we listening to? Anything new and exciting other than the one album we'll dive into or project we'll dive into a little bit?
No, I don't think so. Nothing out of the ordinary. I haven't really been listening to a whole lot of music besides what we're going to talk about later on in the podcast, so nothing too crazy to me.
Same here. Just recent albums we've talked about.
You guys been playing anything else?
I'm grinding Persona 5
Yeah, you're
again.
still playing Persona.
FIFA and MLB occasionally.
Yeah, I'm still playing. I just started up God of War again. After I beat Last of Us, I kind of had this thing where I didn't want to play any other single player. I just kind of was playing some Call of Duty stuff like that.
We were just talking about Diablo 3 before the podcast started. The new season actually comes out this Friday, so I'll be playing that when it comes out. But other than that,
Yeah,
nothing really
I've
interesting.
been playing Call of Duty. My dad, for an hour or something when I'm bored. Trying to get Warzone dubs with the boy Matt Chang. That's my guy. It's all of our guys. We gotta get him when he comes back in the fall. That should be the first drunk podcast.
Yeah.
Because that shit would just be
Oh, man.
comical. He's just gonna be laughing the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
He could be laughing listening to this. You know him.
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's the homie. We're gonna get some of the homies on here eventually.
Shout out Andy. Shout
Andy,
out
Omar. I want to get Sheet on here. That'd be funny as hell. Obviously, Matt. And some of our other buddies would be fun to get on. Even some of my roommates, I think, would be some interesting topics. We'll have to do the Night Shift and Basement Boys fucking collab.
I was thinking about that too.
That'd be pretty sick.
We get merch. We need collab merch.
We gotta make it Nike Dry Fit.
Yeah.
So, I guess I've been listening to my normal stuff. Obviously, the project we're gonna dive into here in a little bit. I've been listening to. Usually, I have an artist I've listened to throughout the week. Last week was Anderson .Paak. I don't have any artists that I was really locked in on recently. Today, for an example, I've been listening to a lot of Scorpion. I listened to Scorpion twice today. Turns 2 years today. So we wanted to give it a little bit of praise, even though it's not Drake's greatest album. I think we can all say that, but I don't think it's garbage like certain people like to think. Yes, that was a shot at my roommate Harrison, who thinks Scorpion's a trash album, and he's a fan of Jaden Smith, so that's all you need to know. Am I starting podcast beef in this household? Probably, but you know, it is what it is. So,
Shade.
Scorpion, 2 years removed from Scorpion. What do you got? I mean, just some favorite songs, some thoughts. I mean, I guess I'll start because I'm talking about it a while. But I think that I was pulling up the track list. I think it aged. I think it's still. I feel about the way I felt about it when it came out. It's not a great album. It's a cool project of a lot of Drake songs that somebody like me or Jordan is going to eat up because we love Drake, and it gives us a lot of R&B Drake and rap Drake. So I'm not mad at it. Some of my standouts off the top of my head: Emotionless, Sandra's Rose, Nonstop. I know was a big hit, but I love that song. If you don't go to the gym and listen to Nonstop, you're doing it wrong. B-side, I like Peak, Finesse. That's How You Feel. So there's definitely some top-notch Drake songs on there. I think Nice for What, you know. But go ahead, I'll open the floor to you guys.
You want to go first?
Nah, go ahead, bro.
Okay. I'm more of a. These guys like R&B Drake more than I do, but if like we had to talk about side B, I mean, I think Jaded is a top.
Oh my God, how did I forget?
Yeah,
that?
I know. I didn't hear you say
Sorry.
it. I was just
waiting
like,
for you.
wow.
Sorry.
I was
I was-
waiting.
I just think that's a top Drake song in general. Like that's up there. Like in my opinion, like when it comes to like R&B Drake, I think of like when I think Peak. Ironically enough, because there's a song called Peak, but Peak R&B Drake is like
Bailey's pun game already. He's
Yeah.
coming out guns blazing.
Jaded. I think of like Jungle. Like those are two like popped in my mind right away.
Different moods, but yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
both
just
start
think
with J's.
Yeah. Ratchet Happy Birthday. I'm just kidding.
No, okay. So before Jordan goes into his, Ratchet Happy Birthday is not a good Drake song, but for what it is, I've come to appreciate it. It's funny. It's Drake just went full in with the auto tune and just said, "Here it is."
Yeah.
You know, I at least applaud him for just putting that on there because he knew it wasn't that great of a song. Like,
Well, and even 40 said it wasn't that great of a song.
right? It's not a moment. It's not supposed to be. It's
No.
called Ratchet
Yeah.
Happy Birthday. Like,
A song that I really like for no particular reason. I know it's not the best on side A, but is there more? Like I just always like that. The vibe, the beat is so eerie and kind of introspective. I always like that. 8 out of 10. I know it's the possible Kanye diss, but like I still like that song. Can't Take a Joke's pretty good. I mean, I think if I had to pick my favorite song off of side A, I think Sandra's Rose is probably the best song on there. Display God's Plan.
that or
being on the
Emotionless.
side.
I love Emotionless too, but
I mean, even I'm Obsessed on here. I know that's not like probably his best, but I know a lot of people like
they were
that.
hits when they came out. Jordan, Scorpion.
Um,
As a fellow OVO Mandem,
Right. I mean,
where are we at?
Scorpion, I think, gets a lot of hate, which I think is justified because it's not the best piece of work, as you were saying, but it really shows that Drake is versatile, that he can really do everything, because it has just about everything on there. It's nowhere near his best work, because it's kind of like a care package and kind of like a Darkling demo tapes. Which
It
is,
kind of reminds me more of a More Life
Yeah.
than a Take Care of Others.
Yeah.
It's like a playlist.
I think it
'Cause that's
flows.
what More Life was
it
known
flows
for.
better than a playlist, but it has playlist qualities because it is kind of all over the place.
It's not cohesive, but it's not. It's not what More Life was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, shout out to I forget the @ but it's like Hip Hop by the Numbers. I think that's actually the @ But he said this. I actually want to pull it up since we're talking about it. But he was saying about how this is Drake's probably his most vulnerable album. From lyric wise, maybe not as much as Take Care, but from talking about here, let me look. I have it here.
I think I know what you mean
Yeah.
in terms of like what's going on around him.
Yeah, it's he says his most anxious, jaded studio album. 45.5% of his bars are anxious or jaded. 74.5% of side A is that. 100% on Jaded, 95.8 on I'm Upset, 95.8 again on 8 out of 10, 94.4 on Survival, and 93.6 on Mob Ties. So when I think of definitely on this album, especially for the time, place, just because of everything that was going on with him and 40, and
Kanye, Pusha T,
Kanye,
shit.
Pusha T,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
That's
it
interesting.
makes sense.
That's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up because I never really. I mean, I thought of Scorpion like that, but I didn't think it would be his most anxious album. I think that would be like, the way I'm thinking it, I would have thought like 2016 Drake would have been with the whole Meek thing. I thought that would have been when he was most anxious, but yeah, I mean,
I
that makes
honestly
sense.
think it might be just because if it's not all about Kanye, obviously, but
Majority of Side A
whatever-
is about Kanye West.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
regardless of the relationship, what it is now or was at the time after like the falling out, I guess you could say happened. Like, this is still the guy who, if he really did hurt Drake, like or not, doesn't matter. Like, because we won't know, because we're gonna hear two different sides from both people. But it's still his person he looked up to. It's still the guy that not made Drake, but I mean he paved the way for a lot of artists,
Including Drake, yeah.
Yeah, for Drake to do what he do what he does.
That sounded really ghetto.
Yeah.
What he do.
So I do find that interesting. I think it hurt more than Meek. I don't think he really cared
Yeah,
that
that-
much.
he felt
I think Meek was
super-
more just like, all right, let me just beef with you real quick.
Yeah,
Like, it
he
wasn't
felt
anything
super
major.
betrayed by that whole thing, and it was his son we're talking about too. You
Yeah.
know, it's not just rap.
Well, that's
and-
push stuff. Cause,
Yeah, but that stems from all that. You know what I mean? Because he thought Kanye told Push about his kid. So, anyway, that was a little bit deeper of a dive than I wanted to go on Scorpion, but I'm glad we did it because that brings some new light to the album, I think.
Yeah. To end it real quick though, do you guys think this is his worst album?
No. Fuck no.
No, I still think Thank Me Later is his worst album,
I would agree, but
just because it's a debut.
It doesn't feel
You
like.
know,
Even though Thank Me Later still got some bangers on it.
right? I mean, we're talking about Drake, so it's like the same thing with Kendrick or Cole.
Yeah.
You say their worst album, and it's not even that bad.
And just to finish off the Scorpion topic, favorite songs. I mean, they pretty much laid
So we
the.
kind of really went far away from
No,
that.
that's all right. They kind of laid the blueprint already. Side A for me, probably just top of the head, nonstop, 8 out of 10. Sandra's Rose. That's probably side A. Side B.
Sandra Rose is really, that's like top tier Drake rap.
Yeah, that's super good Drake.
Make them hoes walk together like a Amber Rose.
Yeah. Super good Drake on side A with Sandra's Rose. Side B, I don't even know if I could pick 3 favorites because I like side B a lot.
Which side do you guys prefer? I'll go A. You guys will probably B.
See, I think
I
If
think
you-
after sitting with it, I think I'm side A, just very so slightly.
if you cut off, I mean I talk about this all the time. If you cut off, March 14th and what's the
After
last
Dark?
one? No, I love After Dark with Ty Dolla $ign. Oh my god.
Yeah, he does kill that.
No, what's the very last song? Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy and March 14th.
Yeah, if you cut those last 2 songs off, I think B is way better than
Yeah,
A.
Final Fantasy's kind of weird too.
I think this is maybe a take. I think Final Fantasy's worse than Ratchet Happy Birthday.
That's a take. I'll come back to you next week and tell you how
That's
I
fine.
think.
That's
I'm gonna
fine.
do my homework
Because I mean, I think Ratchet Happy Birthday is awful, but Final Fantasy, after you hear it the first time, you don't have to hear it again. I think it's the same with
he
March
makes that weird
14th
noise
too.
where he basically says he's banging this chick and
Yeah.
it sounds like waves hitting and he does that weird
Yeah.
noise where he goes. It's
Yeah.
like I didn't need
It
that.
sounds like
Like-
customers.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't need
Shout
to hear
out
that.
Jeffrey.
But
Summer
yeah.
Games is good too. Shout out Omar. I know you're
Did you
listening to
know, real quick, I don't want to get into Scorpion because we spent probably 10 minutes on Scorpion already, but did you know that people hate Summer Games?
I don't know.
saw this on Twitter
I don't
last
know
night.
how.
What did you
People
know?
are
People
actually
think
saying
this is his worst album.
people are actually saying Ratchet Happy Birthday is better than Summer
Oh,
Games.
okay, yeah,
which
that-
I don't understand, but
it just-
that's just something I saw
Whatever
on,
they're smoking, I need some of that.
on OVO Twitter, but you know, it is what it is. So, happy birthday, Scorpion, 2 years old. You're not as bad as everybody says you are, and I appreciate you. Going into the next kind of, before we really get into the meat of the podcast and the real heavy hitting topics, I have a crazy Kanye theory. Babe, what are you gonna show me? You gonna show me
it's just speaking of
Shrek's
Kanye.
Twitter thing?
It's just speaking of Kanye. He actually just tweeted. Because I got a notification because I have Kanye's notifications on.
Don't tell me you dropped the fucking.
That's what I was thinking at first. I was like, dude, I swear to God if he did. But no, I just want to say congratulations to Miss West as she officially became a billionaire. Got 2 billionaires in the West household now.
So anyway, I have this theory about Kanye's new album. I haven't told these guys, and we're recording, this is Monday, June 29th, I believe it is. It is indeed
Yeah.
June 29th. Okay, so Kanye had said he was releasing a single today. It's now 9 o'clock Eastern time, and it hasn't come out yet, which doesn't surprise anybody.
He's gonna drop it at
But
11:59.
he probably would. But it's the lead single for his new album, God's Country. Now, I think what's interesting about the title name, and my theory is, now this could be super basic, super ground level, and it probably is, and people probably already heard this, but I'm thinking, if you listen to the beat of that little preview trailer, right? Bailey said it reminded him of Yeezus. I like Yeezus a lot.
That beat is so crazy.
What if it's Yeezus meets Jesus is King, in the sense that the content and what he's rapping about is the same as Jesus is King, but it sounds like Yeezus?
I mean, I think that's what it's going to be.
I hope it is. And if it is, I think God's Country as a title is very interesting, because if you think of it in the way that it's God's country, but look at everything that's going on in the world. God wouldn't want this to happen, but it's his country, and he's allowing it to happen in a sense. So I think my theory is the lyrics and the what he's saying and the message of the album is going to be that what God would have preached, what's in the Bible, stuff like that. But the chaos and the destruction is going to come through sonically with the beats and everything. Now Kanye is probably he is a much smarter man than I am, but that's something he would do. And the concept I think makes sense in my head. I don't know if it makes sense of how I explained it, but
if you want to think like Kanye, it's like, I'm sounding like a dick eater, but it's extremely outside the box.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
we just spent 12 minutes on Scorpion and used stats and shit. So,
but you have to think really outside the box. He's not gonna do something typical or ordinary or what people think he's gonna do. He always does the opposite of what everyone thinks he's gonna do.
So that makes me think that my theory is just not even close.
Honestly, I think it's not a bad theory or whatnot by any means, but
that
it's
was
just
my first thought. But
with him, it's just you are just better off letting him just do
especially
what he does.
anymore.
Yeah, because he released the alien version of Crocs. Who would have done that besides Kanye?
Yeah.
So I mean,
they're reselling for $400 some in StockX, by the way.
weren't you said they were only 75?
They retailed $75, but now you can get them for $500 in a size 13 on StockX. So that's my crazy Kanye theory. Jordan, you got any thoughts? You just gonna kind of wait and see?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to really say on that. If the song does drop tonight, because who fucking knows? Because how long did it take for?
Yeah, Jesus is King was.
We never got Yandi. So.
Well, that was scrapped, and then Jesus is King was pushed 17 times. So
yes. So
whenever
the song drops, I'll listen to it, and then we'll definitely talk about it because Bailey's a huge Kanye fan.
Bailey will force us to talk about
Brian's a Kanye fan. I'm a Kanye fan, but Bailey's definitely going to force us to talk about it on the podcast whenever it drops. So.
Not that I'm forced to talk about Drake, but if we have to talk about Drake, we have to talk about Kanye.
That's fair. So yeah, there's my crazy Kanye theory. It probably really isn't that crazy. I'm gonna let Jordan. So, the project that we all have been listening to, that we all wanted to listen to for the pod and talk about today, is Black's EP that he released. It's called what? 6-piece.
6-piece hot.
Jordan, I'm gonna let you go ahead because Jordan's probably the biggest Black fan out of us three. Would you agree, Bailey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give him the floor. Kind of let him introduce it and give his thoughts on it, because I think it'd be better to hear it from somebody who has more history on Black and more listening history on Black than Bailey and I. So, Jordan, go ahead.
Ooh, that's a lot. So, he dropped the EP. Would have been Wednesday last week?
I believe so.
I think it was Wednesday last week. June
26th.
He had already released Atlanta Freestyle, and he had already released Float, which are 2 singles on the EP. What do I want to say about this? It's kind of hard how to go about it. He's very expressive in his music, especially in Elephant in the Room and Outside, which are the last 2 songs on the album. He really is. What's the word I want to say? He's very. And you guys can voice in too, because I'm not really sure the word I'm looking for to say. He's very passionate. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. He's passionate about the song, and he says about in.
What song are you looking for?
Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now.
Real quick, did you guys see on the 3 different album covers he showed? The one that covered the Atlanta Freestyle, that he has one of the folders is named Album 3.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
this is definitely a build up to it. I think what Jordan's getting at is Black's one of those artists, and he's good. He's very good at it. Like many, I don't know if you call Black I guess you call Black R&B.
Yeah,
He's
definitely-
mainly R&B.
definitely
I feel like
R&B.
he rapped more on this though.
He
Yeah,
did.
he got his shit off on this one, but he does a good job of making you feel what he's saying, and you really feel, at least you really feel his music, and you can feel
Which is funny because he has a really mellow delivery.
he does. But I think that's
Adds to it.
unique. I think it's unique for him. You know, I think he kind of has his own sound. So yeah, he put out this EP, and we were
Well,
all.
it's not on outside.
You just let me know when you find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I'll kind of go off on what I think of it. So sitting with it for a little bit longer, I still like it. I like it a lot. I don't think it's not meant to be a full-fledged project. This is cool little 6 songs he put out.
Just some moosies.
I would like a little more variety. I think it all kind of sounds similar, except for Outside, which is the last song, which I think it's Jordan's favorite.
No,
Not my
Rights was a
second
little
favorite.
different with Lil Baby.
Yeah, but my thing with Know Your Rights is it sounds too much like that other Lil Baby song. You know, I know what they were going for. They were going for that same similar message. I really like Elephant in the Room. I think that's my favorite song on the project, and I think he's talking. I forget what exactly he's talking about, but it's something to do with how he's talking to his significant other and saying, "Listen, if I have to choose my career over you, start packing your bags." Basically.
Okay. I'm ready. Whenever you're done.
Yeah.
I'm ready then.
No, that's just something like you felt that, in that song. So go ahead.
Well, so with Elephant in the Room, he's talking about. I was looking for a lyric, but maybe he doesn't say it. I was just thinking about it. But like the whole song is him talking about his struggles with his. I guess I don't know if they're married anymore. His wife and because they have a little.
Or a hypothetical wife or whatever.
Yeah, just say his significant other, his struggles of dealing with like how to be like a father when they're both like how to not get the kid involved in
The kind of conflict that's
Yes.
there. Yeah.
and then when it transitions into Outside and he says something about address the elephant in the room, you get from the kid aspect, but then there's also different elephants that you can talk about as like what's going on in the world right now with COVID, what's going on
Well,
with
that's what I thought of when I first heard Outside. I thought he was talking about kind of the depression that the pandemic put on people and not being able to go outside and see their friends and
yes,
do stuff outside.
which is then what led into the next song, Outside, which is what he talks about fully in the song, which is about him. What's it going to be like once this is all said and done? Are we going to be able to go outside and interact with people the same way that we did before this all happened? And the first 4 songs are all kind of like they're kind of all over the place because, like I said, Atlanta Freestyle was dropped as a single and Float was dropped as a single. Know My Rights is really good, and then the one with Baby is kind of unique. But the last
the
two,
one with Baby is Know Your Rights.
or not Know Your Rights.
Float.
No, what's the second song?
Long Nights.
Long Nights. Thank you.
I like that one. I do
Yeah.
like that one.
Long Nights, thank you. But the last 2 songs are really cohesive together, and I think if he did more stuff like Elephant in the Room and Outside and put that as an album and made songs more like that kind of flow together, I think he would be.
Well, and I think he does do that on his studio albums.
Yeah, I think
his first album and then East Atlanta Love Letter has that kind of
Yeah.
cohesion to it. And that's why I'm not judging it off of an
No.
EP. I'm not looking for cohesion. Go ahead, Billy. You want to say something?
Not much. I don't really have too much to say. I mean, I liked it. If I had to pick a favorite song, I like Float a lot.
I like Float a lot too.
I mean, I liked all the songs on this album. If I had to pick a least favorite,
I guess my thing
I don't
is,
really know.
I like the project, but there was nothing that truly stood out to me. You know what I mean?
No.
And that's fine for an EP. You know, it's the same way I'd expect if he just released a single. It's like, okay, I don't need you to blow me away with a single. You know what I mean?
You know, one thing I think I wish he would have done a little bit better, because I'm sitting here looking through the genius of the songs, and I think he could have rearranged the songs a little bit better, because he has Float third, right? Where Float is kind of talking about getting through the difficulties and the hardships too, and I think that could have fit maybe better with like being either right after Elephant in the Room and then Float talking about trying to get through the hardships and stuff. and then Outside being
I
like
like
the
that.
whole
I like that. That's interesting.
like whole trying to
Yeah.
get together with friends and stuff. Like, is it going to be okay?
And again, I guess my counterpoint to that, not that I don't disagree with you, but just playing devil's advocate, you could also just say, well, it's an EP.
Yeah. Oh, for
You know
sure.
what I mean? Like maybe with like
And we're going to be more hypercritical too, because we can sit here and talk about it and see what he was
Right.
talking about, and be
and
like,
he could
oh,
have had a different vision in his head, you
Yeah.
know, that this is what he wanted to do. But yeah, I think Black is. Did we talk about him last week too?
we talked about him a very small amount. I think we talked about him last week.
I think he's still super underrated. I think he
he's
put
one
out.
of my favorite R&B artists.
Yeah, he's right there after Frank and the Weeknd for me.
I agree.
mean,
Like when I listen to R&B, I want to listen to Drake. I want to listen to R&B Future's not bad too.
R&B Future, yeah, he got some hits there.
But like you said, Frank, The Weeknd. I like Division.
Yeah, Roy Woods, that whole
Roy
camp.
Woods,
Ogio
yeah.
Mandem, stand up.
I mean, I think Black's up there when it comes to R&B, like top tier R&B artists.
It boggles my mind. East Atlanta Love Letter is really good, and his debut album is really good. It's got like
Black.
Problems. That's got X Calling. Like those songs are hits.
X-Con and Problems. Were
And
like,
again,
two
that
of
just-
them on the map.
Atlanta, man, they keep pumping out mad talent. They're crazy right now. I think they're on top of the rap game right now. Or I put Black in there because we talked about with Spillage Village that he's on there. Like somebody found Earth Gang, Jid, and Black all under the same roof.
Yeah.
Like how crazy is that? Like that's insane talent to find right
Yeah,
there.
was it Jid and Black are cousins, and Jid
Yeah.
went to college with.
I'm
Earth
pretty sure,
Gang?
yeah. So they all
Yeah.
know each other. They're all friends, and they're just insanely talented. But yeah, I hope he gets more shine, and I'm really excited for his next album.
I agree.
I think we're gonna hear him on the Spillage Village project too. That'll
Yeah,
come
for
out
sure.
this year. I don't know if he'll be all over that, but
Also Dante Hitchcock. That's another Atlanta artist, right? Isn't he from Atlanta?
I'm gonna assume so. If you want to look that up,
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that.
If you want to look that up,
And
that'd
we
be
know.
great.
I mean, I don't know who else is.
But obviously, like
from Atlanta in that group. I know Jordan Bryan isn't.
no, but
Oh, he's from Atlanta too. Again, Atlanta
Yeah.
just
well, I
talented.
mean,
artists
obviously
left and right.
outside of Thug Future, there's still. I mean,
Yeah.
there's depth. Baby from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, shout out Atlanta.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're super.
they're
versatile.
so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, unique, versatile. All of them sound different from each other. Like
When you
it's-
think of the top 3 places that hip hop artists come from, I think you think of like L.A. / like Compton, like that kind of West Coast, to New York, and then you think Atlanta.
well,
Yeah.
in the South. I mean, I think you have to group Texas in there too, like that
Yeah,
Texas,
Houston.
Louisiana.
But I feel like in terms of like I'm saying like top 3 places that produce
Sure,
artists.
sure. I'm just
I'd
saying.
say-
I'm just saying the South rather
No,
than
I
just
agree. I
Atlanta.
mean, yeah.
Because if you say West Coast, East Coast, that can be
Well, I was
East
saying
Coast.
more like New York.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
LA.
I know what you mean,
Yeah.
but like if you're gonna say East Coast, West Coast, and I think you just say South, and then of course Canada. So yeah, shout out Black. Excited for the album. This
If
is
you-
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you haven't listened to any of his stuff, you should really go and listen to it. This album, this EP, maybe it's not the best place to start because it's
Start with the first.
Yeah, I
album.
was about to say I just
Yeah.
started square one.
probably
Start with get some get some drinks in you. Get feeling good. If you're slightly depressed, I don't condone drinking while depressed, but shit happens. And spin fucking, especially if you go through a breakup. I don't deal with that
Dude,
right
if
now.
you throw
But,
on X Collins, you're done.
but like,
for.
or
Yeah.
problems? Oh my god,
Dude,
you're done.
Problems into
You're done.
Free? Oh my
You're gonna be
God.
wanting to like call up some fucking other bitch you're talking
Yeah.
to or some shit. Again, I don't condone any of this. I am a good white boy. But yeah, shout out Black. Let's switch gears here. Let's
What's next?
finally,
Sports?
yes.
Okay.
After many negotiations, many frustrations, many tweets from Brian about how fucking stupid Major League Baseball is, we have a baseball season officially. Go ahead.
Real quick, I hate to throw a wrench into this, but I want to say one thing before we got off
Can you
music.
tell me about how Mike Leake doesn't want to play?
No.
Okay.
I was gonna say because we talked about it in the car earlier, but Kendrick. I feel like we should talk about this. Not in too much in depth, but Kendrick Lamar's "Good Kid, Mad City" has spent now 400 weeks on the Billboard 200. It's the longest charting hip hop studio album in history.
Okay, shout out Kendrick.
No, I just wanted to say because that's
Good
pretty
Kid,
crazy.
Mad City. Anyway, we got an MLB season. 60 games. I'm going to try to rattle off everything I have on top of my head. 60 games. Players reporting July 1st, which is Wednesday. Season starting, opening day July 23rd and 24th. I said 60 games already, right?
Yep, that's the first thing you said.
So, universal DH, meaning the designated hitter will be in the National League game for the first time ever. What else do I want to say?
They're gonna have. Did you see that they are gonna have runners on second? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for extra
That's
innings.
so dumb.
Yeah, but given the circumstances, you could put fucking robots out there playing. I'd still watch it because it's baseball. If you're based on geography, so like the AL East and the NL East are going to play each other. So you play your own division 40 games you play of the 60 game season against your own division. The other 20. This is all you can all look this up. I'm just giving a quick Brian rundown of this. 20 games are played against. So like for Bailey's example, he's a Phillies fan. The NL East, he'll play his own division 40 games, and then he'll play 20 games against the AL East, which would be like the Red Sox, Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays, Orioles.
A lot of free wins there.
Well, just the Orioles, really. Blue Jays are going to give you a fight. Yankees. Red Sox, you never know. Rays are good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like easy Yankees. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, Bailey's had some really bad things on this
I just
one
like-
so far.
I-
He started off, he came out guns fired.
What have I
I
said
already
that's
know-
bad?
And
What
now
have I
he's
said that's
working.
bad?
I
The
already-
Yankees are an easy win.
That was
You
just
fucked up my entire rant about how we finally have a baseball
Okay, so
season.
that's
just to
two.
tell
I
me,
just wanted to make a joke for Andy because I
just
know he
to
listens.
tell me that Kendrick makes good music that people listen to.
Well, no, I think it's
Um,
important. It's the longest charted hip hop album.
So we'll praise
So you want
Kendrick
to talk
for
about
that.
Scorpion's birthday for
but-
12 minutes?
But when Views is on there, everybody's like, oh, Drake's just a pop artist. Anyway, back to baseball. And it truly is back to baseball. I don't have too much to say other than the fact that I'm happy baseball is back. I'm still worried with COVID's shit. Like, you know, it could just be like that. The season could be gone if, you know, if things get too out of control, like we're seeing in other states spiking like crazy. That's a concern. But for now, I'm just going to remain positive. And I'm thoroughly excited baseball is back.
like you said about certain states getting out of hand, Florida, and they want to start baseball back up in. I mean, not baseball. They want to start basketball back up in Orlando. I mean, that could be. a little
Yeah, it's
tricky,
gonna
especially
be-
because Dinwiddie just came out. He has coronavirus now.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was earlier today.
Of course, see, Florida's weird because like,
Florida is not a part.
but
of the
like I
United
feel
States.
like Disney isn't a part of Florida, if that makes sense. Disney World's its own bubble, so but I know what you're saying.
It should be okay.
That's not a good place to really go right now at all. But yeah, Bill, you got anything else to say about baseball being back? Because I know Jordan really truly doesn't, and I want to keep this.
I mean, it should be interesting. I just hope no matter what happens in this season, whoever the World Series winner is, we shouldn't be talking about any Astros.
Yeah, because everybody's playing by the same rules.
Exactly.
I mean, they can't help it.
So if
But okay, so
Even
go ahead.
well, the only thing I can say about this is that if whoever wins this year in particular should be talked about more with what they've had to gone through with, you know, whether or not they're going to have a season or not, whether or not they're going to be fit to be actually able to play a season, because, you know, you have a 3-month break prior to actually getting back
Well,
into
they
playing.
had to cancel. I mean, they had to stop. They started spring training,
Right.
and then stopped it. So, but what's interesting too, and you kind of reminded me of this point that I wanted to make, but it being a 60-game season for baseball, where it's normally 162, that might, you know, I was talking to Harrison, and he was saying about how it might get him to watch baseball now more, because
Yeah.
every game matters. Every game truly matters. If you lose 6 games in a row, that's going to feel like, I can't do the math in my head, but that's going to feel, normally like with a 162 game season, if you lose 12 in a row, that's going to equate to 6 in a row here.
Yeah.
Like, you can't afford to go on this huge losing streak.
well, you're not going to see, something like what the Nats did last year.
Right. And that's why I'm worried as a Cardinals fan, because we're notorious for starting off the season god awful and then getting hot like a month before the playoffs start, and we sneak in. You can't get off to a bad start, and you can't have a bad.
No.
If you get struck with injuries or something, you could be in trouble. And
It's going to be interesting to see what players' stats are completely inflated off of this, because like I think Jared Carabas tweeted out about how through 60 games, and I forget what year it was, but Tony Quinn batted like over 400.
Yeah, well, you're going to see
So-
that. You'll see somebody hit 400 if it's an Altuve, if it's, whoever.
I think he said Yelich was his front runner for
It
that.
could be him too. So yeah, it's as much as I want 162 games because I will watch any baseball I possibly can. I'm happy we have a season. I'm thankful we're having a season, and I think it's going to be truly fun to watch what every game mattering. If that, I'm not saying like Jordan's going to become a baseball fan because every game matters all of a sudden, but that might draw in some people.
I'll be interested to see what the viewership is like.
Well, and it being an actual season too, as opposed to the NBA just being a postseason, is going to help too because every fan base is going to watch. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic about it actually happening still. But yeah, I was so happy when I saw that news because I was just waiting, and being a huge baseball fan, it's like, ugh, like, can you just give me it, please? And we got it. So, and then I guess, is there anything else sports-wise we want to talk about?
I mean, everything looks to be relatively on track for basketball. It looks like we're gonna be getting that back. I think hockey is definitely coming back. So I mean that should be good. We've already talked. The Premier League's still playing their games and all that. MLS is going to do a little cool tournament.
Yeah,
so
that's gonna be fun to watch.
That should be coming soon.
Not to interrupt you, I wanted to ask Jordan something, I'll ask both of you because you both have an answer here. Do you think? So you said about how whoever wins the World Series this year shouldn't have an asterisk, and you were saying about how it'll be remembered more, basically. Do you think that same idea applies to the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think in any sport, it doesn't matter who wins what. I think with everything going on, is like you can't hate on there can't be an asterisk next to anybody that wins anything because every team is playing under the same set of rules and games and all that.
I guess I was thinking I didn't know if so like for baseball you still have to play out the full season, whereas with the NBA it's kind of like weird because like a team like the Wizards probably shouldn't be in Disney World playing.
I agree with you, Bailey, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. So everybody is playing under the same, conditions, right? Everybody has the same rules and stuff. But think about like all the teams that have like different total, like what's the word I'm looking for? Not total, but like for a soccer team, like your age, like the age of everybody on the team combined is like the average age of the player on the team.
You're saying certain teams have a higher average age.
Yes,
okay, I got
that's
you.
what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Like if the Phillies have an average age of 32, but then the Cardinals only have an age of like 24. Does that get thrown into the mix because the 32-year-old might take longer to get ready than a 24-year-old?
No, because it's weird. Baseball's weird. You can be in your
No, I'm not talking just baseball. I'm just talking all sports.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the sport because, 32 really isn't that old, but especially in baseball, 32-year-old, you have, many years left in your career, specifically in baseball. Like, you
could have, you could have 8 more. You could play 2 4.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you may be on a decline a little bit fielding-wise, but as a hitter,
yeah,
you might be peak hitting years.
I think another thing, too, of what you're getting at is kind of the COVID aspect of it. So,
and people will opt out, so.
we're already seeing it. That's interesting, too, is the whole... Not saying... Let's say I'm trying to think of a player that's not a LeBron, but, a superstar in the league. Let's say for lack of a better person, a Pascal Siakam. Not a huge superstar, but he's a damn good NBA player. Let's say he decided, I'm opting out. That makes the Raptors a lot weaker, and whoever plays them is going to have an easier road. So, and again, that's not any team's fault, but it's just another thing that factors into it.
Right.
So,
because if he does play,
or to your example of the age, if an older player is considered, what's the word I'm looking
at
for?
risk.
Yeah, at risk. Thank you. Then he's going to not play or somebody just has a newborn baby at home.
Right.
Are they going to go to Orlando to play basketball?
There's
it's
a lot
interesting.
I don't think there should be an asterisk, but there's a lot of variables that play into making
and
whether
and it's just not having something like this.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh, interesting. I wanted to hear your guys' thought on that. All right. Well, if there's nothing else in sports, I think it's time.
Yeah, we've been waiting to talk about this for
I think
a
it's
while.
time. I'm gonna. So before we get into The Last of Us, I know Bailey wanted to talk about it for a little bit. Jordan couldn't give a fuck less about this game, but
Okay. Well, I don't care about the game because I just don't think it's. Well, I'll let you talk and then I'll explain why.
So we're talking about the new Avengers game that's supposed to come out. I forgot what the name of it is. It's like Avengers. It's an Avengers video game. You don't need the fucking subtitle or anything. But they put out a big gameplay reveal of it. And Bailey sent it to us and was like, check it out. Maybe we can talk about it on the pod. So I was like, all right. So I watched about 20 minutes of it. And I was very underwhelmed. I think it looks generic. I think it looks like a superhero version of The Division, but more generic, if that makes sense. It's very easy. I get so worried with. That's why I love Spider-Man so much, is because they did it so well. And to be fair, I haven't played the game at all. I'm just based off what I saw. But it just looks generic. Look, we got like robot enemies that Thor's just beating the fuck out of with his fucking hammer. Like, I go ahead. What were we gonna say before I?
So the main reason I'm not looking forward to this game is the Avengers movies, and maybe I'm being, these are two extremes, but the movies were done so well, and then to try and put that into a video game to match, well, maybe you're not trying to match the movies, but you're going to have people that are going to try
You
and
need
compare
that
it.
same charm, that same
Yeah.
like it almost exists in the same universe when it really isn't.
Yes, you need it to almost be as good as the movies, because if it's not, people are going to be like, oh, we should have just stuck to making movies.
And having the Avengers tag to it.
Yes.
But Bailey, I want you to give your thoughts
And
because
then I'll talk more, because I'm curious what Bailey
I
has to
think
say.
I'm more interested in this game than you two are.
Definitely.
So, I mean, I'll definitely get it. I mean, it is just kind of like I guess it's kind of an RPG
Yeah, I would say it's an RPG.
in like the Avengers world. So, like, it's like you guys said, it's like, it's like, insert Destiny 2 or something, Destiny, like one of those
that
games.
type of game.
Like, it's that type of game. I'll be interested just to see how well it is played, because, I mean, it's like, you guys might say this, but I think you both wind up getting it maybe at some point.
Depends.
Because it's like,
We'll see how it does.
Like, it's still cool. You still get to play with Iron Man, the Hulk. You get to level up these characters, like, find different armor pieces or tools to improve your player and whatnot. I'm interested to see what else is in the game, because it's probably not just hero missions and it's not just war zones. So I feel like I want to see how it is like co-op wise, because obviously gonna be playing with people. Some not gripes that I really had, because I'm not a comic book guy, but I saw people were disappointed somewhat with I think her name is Kamala Khan.
Yes, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
being put in it because she's a comic book character.
It's something about their stories not truly.
Yeah, so it
I
was
saw
like
the same. I thought
pretty
some of the
much
stuff,
what
too.
comic book fans were saying, where it was that, when you think of the Avengers, these are top, not even just Marvel heroes. They're obviously like the top Marvel heroes, but like they're some of the top superheroes.
Well, even like
Excuse me.
pop icons in
Yeah,
America,
exactly.
or in the world.
So it's like you have Thor, Hulk, Black Widow,
Captain America. You know how many bitches I see walking around with
Iron-
Captain America
that's what I'm
shirts
saying.
on? Like, come on now.
So like Iron Man, all these different things, like these are huge people in not just the Marvel universe, but just like you said, pop culture. Like all these guys have their movies.
Super
They're like some of the like you
beloved.
think exactly. Like,
Yeah.
Captain America specifically, like he's from like the very start of Marvel, from like Stan Lee was writing all this stuff, and then
he has the best movies too.
exactly.
That's a debate
I
for
mean,
another day. But
I mean, I really like him as him in Iron Man movies. It doesn't matter, but so. What?
I tried to derail you, but keep
Yeah.
going.
But people didn't like the fact that she was in it, because it's not like she is like a super. I never heard of her until this. It's and like there's this one YouTuber, I won't say his name, but this one YouTuber I was watching, and he was reacting to the reveal and whatnot. And as soon as he saw Kamala Khan, he paused and just face palmed right away, and he was like, look at this goofy character, and like it's pretty much what's the is it Mr. the guy in the Fantastic Four who stretches?
Mr. Elastic.
Is his name Mr. Elastic
I thought it was Mr. Fantastic.
or Mystic Fantastic?
I think it's Mr. Elastic.
It could be.
I'll be honest.
I
But you know
don't
what's
know.
funny is Jordan looks like him.
That's ridiculous. But it's
I
like
do
that. So
kind
it's
of.
like it's like that's what her power is. At least
Oh,
it
I
seems
can't
like to
fucking
me,
spell.
at least. But it's like you're talking about top upper echelon superheroes.
Oh, I guess it is Mr.
I
Fantastic.
thought it was Mr. Fantastic. That's why it's the Fantastic Four,
And then you
not Mr. You're thinking of Elastic.
Look, here's Jordan.
That's crazy.
Oh shit, that's funny. Sorry, continue.
But you kind of get that character just like who's not really. It's not like they belong.
We need to fucking click off of this. Stop
You
looking
guys-
at this.
It's hilarious.
It's like she feels out of place, and it's like, well, me as someone who doesn't read the comics, like really care that much, no, but like, it's for kind of like in anything. It's like I don't know about I like authenticity.
Oh,
Like
well,
in
yeah.
movies, like you have to like, especially because like I know you guys aren't as into it as I am, but like with anime, is you have
What?
to respect the source material.
Yes.
Like a lot of
Yes.
people who get super annoyed with different animes and whatnot is because they'll cut out certain stuff to fit their episode amount, or they'll do things differently. And I mean, this just goes for books and movies in general. It's just like you can't disrespect source material like that. So it will be interesting. Like I said, I'm not going to grape on it too much just because I'm not a comic book guy, but I get where they're coming from and why they'd be like not annoyed but disappointed.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing I had to say, and then I'll let you talk, is I just hope they pull something that's not like generic, because from what you saw from the trailer, it's just basic, just fighting NPCs, and you're just going around as different characters and just fighting pretty much the same stuff. So I hope they pull in some different aspect that makes it unique, but we'll have to see. Time will only tell.
Yeah, I think I'm at the point where I'm waiting to see on this game. But yeah, if the loop's there, and my thing is, I would like this game if the loop's there and if the combat's good.
Yes.
If it feels good beating the shit out of motherfuckers with Thor's hammer
Yeah.
and fucking blasting people with Iron Man, then I'm going to have a fun time with it. I just hope there's either a story element or a loop or something. And that's the other thing of being kind of we're comparing it to Destiny or The Division, is as I grow as a gamer, I don't like that game as much anymore. Like, I don't have the time to sit here and play with you guys.
No,
Jordan's sitting here smiling
go
at
ahead.
me.
I got a great transition, man.
Alright, cool. I prefer single-player games with fantastic stories.
Single player games with fantastic stories, Brian.
Oh, man, okay,
Last of Us 2?
before we continue, do you have anything else to say, Bailey?
No.
Jordan, you have anything else to say?
No.
Okay. I'm giving you I'm giving 5 seconds to get the fuck off this if you haven't beaten Last of Us 2. We're going to spoil the fuck out of the game. As soon as I stop talking, it's spoiler from here. This is going to get heated. It's going to be fun. And yeah, go play Last of Us 2, go beat Last of Us 2, and then come back. Okay, so I don't know how we want to start this, because we've been talking about this game for a week, kind of as we've been going. Bailey beat it first, I beat it second, Jordan finished it 2 days ago, 3 days ago, something like that.
I beat it on Thursday, yeah.
So yeah, maybe a little 4 days ago. I
Yeah.
don't know. Where do we want to start?
So I think let's just give an overall. We won't get into any details. Let's just talk about.
No, you want to talk? Do you want to go through the plot points, or you just want to?
I think what we should do is we should discuss this beforehand, but we can talk about just graphics, gameplay, what other kind of...
Yeah, it's fine. I just didn't want to do it
And then
before.
the
I didn't want to do it
storyline.
beforehand because I would have probably accidentally said something. So I didn't want to have to like have anybody hold anything. So okay, you want to get into just the overall gameplay?
So let's just start with gameplay.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
just start no story. Let's just start strictly
Okay.
gameplay.
I'm here. Let's do it.
I want Bailey to start.
I don't want to start. That's the
Okay, you know
thing.
what? I'll
I wanna
start
hear
then.
you guys
I'll
say.
start then.
I mean, I know what you're gonna say, but...
No, we're just talking strictly
Oh,
like
talk about
gameplay.
Oh,
No story.
Okay, yeah,
no
I'm
story.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was the one who suggested we start with different things first.
That's all right. So I'll start.
Yeah. go ahead.
So, gameplay, for me personally, I think is better than the first one.
Oh
I-
God, yeah.
I think
That's not a hot take either.
I think the crafting system is super useful because I think at least for me and Brian, ammo was hard to find, where Bailey was finding ammo all the time.
And we all played on the same difficulty,
yeah,
by the way.
all
Yeah,
the
we're
same.
all normal.
Yeah. I want to go back and try and play it on one of the higher difficulties,
Fuck that.
but not yet, because it's
Fuck.
going to be
Fuck that.
it's going to be fucking difficult.
And I have issues with this game, and I will get into it. But continue.
We probably have some similar issues, but so the gameplay. First thing that comes out to my mind is playing as Ellie and not having to have shivs 24/7 is a fucking blessing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Having to have him as Abby, I actually was okay with because
Well, there's spoiler number one. You play as Abby. Like,
you play as two characters.
it's basically two stories.
It's two.
This is quickly going to go off the rails. I
It
hope
is.
you know
It's
this.
two. We won't go anymore, but it's two characters pretty
Following
much
the
having the
same
same story. Back to gameplay. I think it's super easy to find all the weapons, and it's super easy to find materials to craft. You know, like your health kits and your stuff like that. Big problem I have, number one, is the enemies seem very basic.
And dumb as fuck.
Yes, they're very basic. Their AI is not like you could shoot one of them and then run around the corner and they're like, oh shit, where'd he shoot me from? Like I have no fucking idea.
There'd
And
be some really funny shit with those enemies too.
Yeah.
I was just laughing.
and maybe that's because we played it on just the medium, and maybe if you play on a higher difficulty,
I can say, because I was watching this YouTuber talk about it, the NPCs were actually very intelligent on a harder difficulty.
okay, so
As
maybe
they
it's just
should be.
because maybe just we played on normal. But I found it super easy to get out of like situations that I was like, oh shit,
You
I
just
didn't want
gotta-
to do that.
You just gotta run away basically and hide. And
Do you want something to say on gameplay wise? We can.
okay, so gameplay wise, everything that was good about the first game, like I didn't mind the crafting. I thought the crafting was fine.
No,
I think
yeah.
the weapon wheel was fine. It's not the best weapon
But
wheel ever, but
it's super hard for a game like that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
It's super hard for a game like that to try, especially on like a console where you have limited buttons. If you're
Yeah.
on a PC, and I don't mean PC
yeah,
Master Race.
You can hit WASD and put like your fucking hunting
PC
rifle
Master
on.
Race, but you just have more because of the keyboard.
Look at my shortcuts.
Yeah, you have more.
I mean, it's just true though.
I hit Z to stab a motherfucker, but
But I think that's easy to put on a controller too. Honestly, if you just would hold like left on the D-pad and then hit triangle and switch weapons, I think
Well-
that's easy to do. But it just wasn't implemented.
and the controls of Last of Us 1 and 2 really aren't that great.
Oh, they're not.
Like they're not super modern. Like L1 to sprint's weird.
Yeah.
It works with how they have it. The weapon wheel I think is smart to keep it that way because I think it being a survival horror game,
Yeah.
I think it adds more tension. Maybe
Especially
a little bit.
because when you're trying to shoot one of them and you fucking run out of bullets, you're like,
my
oh
God.
fuck, I gotta switch weapons.
So I like the crafting. I think the crafting is good. I really like the I don't know if you want to call it perk system, but the upgrade tree.
Oh, I didn't even talk about
And the
that.
5 different.
Yeah,
I thought
didn't
that
even-
was really
I didn't even talk
smart.
about
Where you
that.
pick up a program or some shit, or like a hunting
training
magazine.
that
and
training manual, yeah.
It places a training manual and unlocks a new path a new training path or whatever.
It's like a skill tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Training path.
No.
That was,
I mean, it is. That's what they call that technically
So-
in the game, but skill tree's a much better way of
yeah,
putting it.
that video gameizes it.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with this game, and so the game pissed me off more than the first one did. I hate the parts where there's 9,000 motherfuckers and they're like, oh, you should be stealthy to get through this, and it's just times where some guy will just see you somehow and you're like, how the fuck did he see me? Like, I had that happen to me a lot. Maybe it was just me and maybe I just suck at it. The part that drove me absolutely fucking insane is, we're in spoilers so I can just say whatever, is when you're with Lev, you're trying to escape the fucking village and you have to go through that fucking water, the thing where you can lay down in the water and go around.
Oh,
I shit you
yeah.
not, I died 10 times and I almost turned the game off because I was at the point where I was just like, fuck it, I can't be stealthy because I kept getting spotted, so I just start shooting motherfuckers and there's like 19 of them, so they just kill me. I was burnt, and that happened to me a couple times. It happened to me in the fucking neighborhood. It's not called Kirkwood, but it's
No, I think it is.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it is.
It's
Kirkwood.
something like that. I had it there. I had it somewhere else too. Shit. It was when you're playing as Abby, I think. It wasn't the part you were telling me about with the when you have to run and you don't turn and shoot because you're gonna die right away.
Oh yeah, fuck that. Fuck
Um,
that part.
So My gripes with the gameplay. So the gameplay feels like Uncharted mixed with Last of Us. I think.
Yeah.
I think that there's more jumping. There's more verticality to it. I think it feels a lot better than the first one. I think some cool. Most of the weapons were the same, which I'm not too mad at.
I actually kind of like that though, because at least for me, it brings that feel from the first one over with the weapons and stuff. So.
It is part 2, not 2.
Yeah.
So, same universe, and I know Bailey's gonna have some gripes about that once we get into the story part of it. But still speaking gameplay, I thought the crossbow was really cool.
Yes, both bow and the crossbow.
I thought the submachine gun was cool at the end of the game, the suppressed one. I don't know why they waited so long to give you a sub, and that's another one of my problems I'll have. I'll get into.
We'll talk about that then too, because I think the submachine gun made the game too easy, but that's beside the point.
Well, yeah, I don't think that part of the game was. We'll get into it.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought the weapons were all pretty good. I liked how Abby and Ellie felt different as characters. I thought with Abby, I felt like I could go into a battle and just shoot people.
And I think that was.
I felt that rifle was sick.
At least for me personally, I thought that's the way you were supposed to play it. For me, Ellie, I was trying to be stealthy and trying to get around stuff and try and be use as much little supplies as possible. Whereas with Abby, you can craft as many fucking bullets as you want.
Right.
Most of the fights, I was just going in gun blazing, and whatever happened.
That rifle's sick.
Yeah.
That rifle she has, that felt really good to use after using fucking hunting rifles for the first 10 hours of the game.
Most of it, yeah. Most of it was probably, I'd say at least the first 8 is all Ellie.
And then there's some wonky stuff.
Yeah,
I think the tall grass system's a little weird because I don't know about you guys, but I was spotted in tall grass. I'm like, well, what the fuck's the point of this? Just stuff like that, kind of.
And maybe that's just slight oversight. I want to get Bailey's opinion on it.
Yeah, go ahead, jump in here a little bit.
Go ahead, Bailey.
So talk about the gameplay. It was slightly improved, but it still felt relatively the same. That is one of the reasons I didn't like it. It kind of felt similar. It's not that it's bad, but it's not the greatest. Specifically shooting mechanics. I didn't have too many problems with it, but it felt like it was 7 years in between. It should have been able to be better than it was.
So I'm gonna ask you a question just because I'm curious. I remember when I was saying about how I missed a bunch of shots. Do you think that's the sway? Because the sway of the gun, when you aim early on, you're swaying all over the damn place.
Absolutely.
And that's obviously a purpose. That's on purpose because it adds to it. But at what point? I think what you're saying is why are you putting that in? And if the player's skill is able to kill somebody, but the game is purposely making you sway. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying, and it's just because it falls into the skill tree.
Well, yeah,
which is you're supposed to craft it and whatnot to get more accuracy and more stability.
So I upgraded sway on the pistol right away, and I didn't even notice anything.
Well, I don't know. I didn't have too much of a problem aiming. I think it was just I feel like if a character's running, it was kind of harder. But if I'm trying to snap from one person to another, I don't know if it's just because I've played shooters for so long, where it's also because I can't even tell you how many days I put in Call of Duty in general. So it's just trying to snap from one person to another. Maybe it's also because I've been playing a lot of third-person shooters recently.
Well, maybe also
because I played the Resident Evil games recently, and I played Uncharted not too long ago.
Well, okay,
so I'm a little more accustomed.
So what I wonder too, maybe that's just you're not supposed to. I'm not critiquing you as the way you played it, but maybe you aren't supposed to play this game like you're supposed to play Uncharted. Because Uncharted, you're kind of just you're fucking murdering.
I was just talking about the shooting. I wasn't.
What's weird? I actually like the sway. And the reason I say that is
I didn't have a problem with it. It just felt like the gameplay was similar to The Last of Us 1.
Well, and I think the sway added an effect for me is okay, granted that these two are supposed to be these badass killers, right? But it adds that effect of that's an intense situation where you're adrenaline and your emotions and all that stuff are really kicking in. So I think the sway just would come naturally with, oh shit, if I miss this fucking shot, I could be dead. So
yeah, I think it's fair to say that gameplay didn't make or break this game for any of us.
No, absolutely not.
If you like The Last of Us 1 gameplay and you didn't mind it, this one...
I didn't expect it to be that much different because it's a sequel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was kind of expecting the same thing.
I thought there were cool weapons. I liked how there were a lot of different weapons. I like the crafting system a lot. I like how they added like essentially more than one skill tree.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. It felt like The Last of Us 1, but it also improved a little bit.
I think that's all you can really expect from a sequel too.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the game's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the graphics are great.
I don't think there's any complaints from any of us
Graphics,
graphically.
voice acting,
Voice acting was great.
all that stuff. Everybody played their characters to a T. I mean, probably one of the better voice acting.
Yeah.
You know, all story stuff aside, like the voice acting from Ellie and the emotions that they got out of those voice actors were amazing. Especially the scene where Ellie's begging Abby not to kill Joel.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's
the
kind
emotion
of
that's out of that.
That's kind of both ways,
And
especially like
yeah,
when
exactly.
when Abby is trying to, when she gets caught there when they come out of the house in the residence, and
Oh yeah, at the end of the game,
at the
close to the end,
towards the end,
when you're in California.
Lev's trying to, stop that guy.
Well,
and
another part
then-
I thought of too is when you finally get back to the theater and you meet up again, and where you play as. Well, we'll transition this into the story part then, so we're all ready. We can go into that. When you get back to the theater as Abby, and you break into the theater, and you have to do that part where you're basically fighting Ellie. It's like the boss battle with David from last game.
Yes.
We got sneaking around, and you're sneaking around the theater. I didn't like that part. I'm gonna say that firstly, but like
I didn't like it either, but for different reasons.
Well, yeah, I didn't. I just felt weird about it. But like when Dina, when
okay.
when Abby's about to like kill Ellie, but Dina comes out and like saves her, and then she takes the blade to Dina, and Ellie says about how like, she's pregnant, and Abby goes, "Good," like in this deep ass voice, but you're like, "Holy shit!" Like, and it took Lev to like have her not do that. And I was really thinking about this game. I wanted to sit with it. So let's be straight out. Bailey doesn't like the game. Jordan loves the game. I really like the game. I think, the more I think about it, I think my favorite character in this game is Lev. I love the factions in the game. I think the wolves and their motivations are cool. The Ellie and Joel and Tommy and all them, the Jackson, they're just doing their own thing. Their motivations are cool, going and clearing all these outposts. But the Scars, what's their actual name? It's like
they don't. I
don't think it's Pharisaites because that sounds like
They
Egyptian.
call them Seraphites.
Seraphites, thank you.
That's not like the name of like the group. I don't think they say the name of the group.
Well,
do they?
it's
But I think
Seraphites.
I think that's supposed to be like what they.
That's like their government name,
Yeah.
for lack of a
Yeah.
better term. I think they are one of the creepiest enemies I've played against.
They're up there.
And I love how they're introduced, but I don't like how then they just become another enemy. At least to me, it felt like I was really scared at first to play against them and fight them. And then now I was like, I could just kill these guys, But I think when you like listen to some of the lore and that conversation when you're doing the Sky Bridge as Abby with Lev, is one of my favorite parts of the game. You kind of have them kind of bond.
Yeah.
And I think Abby says to him something about something being cool. And Lev, growing up in this world, he's like, cool? What do you mean by cool? Like, he doesn't know what that slang means. I think that's super cool. I think Lev gives...
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, I didn't even try that. I think Lev gives a side... brings out a different side in Abby.
If it wasn't for Lev humanizes Abby to
Yes.
me. And if it wasn't for Lev, because in my opinion, so with Abby, it's I know.
Oh, I can't wait
it's-
for this. This is
Yeah.
gonna be so good. I can't wait to talk. Go ahead, Bailey.
So, a lot of the game, I feel like when I'm just because I agree. I think Lev and Yara were my favorite part
I think they're
of Abby's story.
yeah. And see, I didn't love playing as Abby until
I still don't like playing as Abby. but-
their part is what really got me to be okay with Abby's character, and because when it went so when you're in the theater as Ellie, and you get the point where Abby comes in, and it cuts the flashback, right, and you figure out that Abby's father was murdered by Joel, so she wants revenge against Joel for killing her father, which is the same reason. They made all these people's characters sound the exact same, and I am not good with names. Ellie's revenge is because Abby killed her father figure, where Abby's actual father was killed by Ellie's father figure. If you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to explain it anymore.
You explained that pretty well.
But when it popped up, Seattle day one, and you play as Abby, I don't mind playing as Abby. That wasn't my problem with it. My problem was like, this is just the first part when you play as her in day one. It's like there's just nothing. But then as you get, and I think Bailey's favorite thing about this game was the flashbacks.
Yeah,
I know you didn't like a lot about this game, but the flashbacks are super insightful, and I know I've been talking a lot. I'll get my spiel off, and then I'll open up the floor again. But like, what made me, I didn't care about Mel, who's the pregnant chick. I didn't care about what was the black chick's name?
Nora.
I didn't care about Nora. The only people I cared about on Abby's side of the spectrum was Lev and, surprisingly, Owen. Because I didn't like Owen at first. I wanted to punch that motherfucker in the face because he's one of those fuckboys that got the slick back haircut and everything. You just want to punch in the nose. But you see that Abby is so, and this ties into the whole thing of the game, is Abby is so infatuated with revenge. Ellie is so infatuated with the revenge, and they're obsessed with it. I think it's easier seen in Abby is that, and it's later seen with Ellie, but Abby missed out on this whole life she could have had with Owen, and she missed out on having a child. And those flashbacks kind of push that home. For me, it pushes it home. And so when you go back to the aquarium as Abby, after you get Lev off the island, and you see... Well, okay, first off, when you see the dog dead, that killed me.
Oh, that hurt.
That hurt
that
more
hurt
than, the fucking bitch
lot.
that just died because of the fucking clicker toxins and shit. I don't know, it's spores. That died in the spores. The dog killed me. And then, because I played fetch with that motherfucker 4 times.
I played fetch with that motherfucker for 10 minutes straight,
That doesn't
dude.
surprise me one bit.
Dude, I was just throwing that shit back and forth.
The Owen death is the one that made me care about Abby. And Abby's side of the story, who she cares about. And then with Ellie, at the end of the game, you have the thing with Dina, when they're happy with the kid there, and they're happy, and you see Ellie's painting, and she's making music and all this stuff, and she just can't let it go. She has to go, and she feels like and it's that obsession with revenge and fulfilling it. And, they both missed out on so much because of this thing that I don't want to say it doesn't matter because it matters, but I don't know how to word it. It's like, how much longer are they going to do this? And I think Bailey, this is also going to play into one of your problems with the game is, I think what I don't like about it is that it's easy for you to sit there and say, oh yeah, Abby can be done with it because she's done. She completed her revenge. She fulfilled her revenge, whereas Ellie's is unfulfilled. But so I don't like that. I don't know where you come down on it because obviously at the end of the game, you have that fight in the water, which I didn't like. That Ellie was like, you have to do this. I'm gonna kill Lev if you don't. That's the revenge part of it. I didn't like that. Emotionally, I was like, Ellie, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? But you can get why. I'm done talking for a little bit.
Do you want to go or you want me to go?
No, I'm going to finish last.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So, where should I start? So, I guess what you just talked about.
You can just pick whatever, because I have more to say, but...
So, I'll start where you started with, and then I'll work into what I think. So, you talked about the end scene with Abby and them fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that scene fit in perfectly because it's kind of the same thing that happened with Abby and Dina in the theater when you fight Abby and
Interesting.
Ellie in the theater. When you're as Abby fighting Ellie in the theater, she has the knife to Dina.
She brought Dina into it.
She brought Dina in it. Ellie brings Lev into it, and then they fight, and then at the end of it, Ellie's like, you know what? She has the flashback of seeing Joel. She's like, you know what? Just go. So,
what'd you think of that part where she sees the flashback? The flashback of Joel she sees this time is not him dead, but him on the porch with the guitar, right?
Yeah.
Do you think like that's the only time we see that flashback? Like as a quick still like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it plays that flashback right after that. That whole, remember that whole part?
Yeah.
It plays that later on.
Yeah.
Which, let me tell you what, I'm not a very emotional person. Like, I don't cry often, dude. But when I saw that flashback of when Ellie goes up on the porch and Joel's playing the guitar, and then Ellie talks about, I hope one day that I'd be able to forgive you, and Joel starts crying. He's like, I'd like that. Man,
And
that
I
was
think-
rough. That was
I
rough.
think the reason they put that after that end scene was because it was this, not that Ellie's ever going to forgive Abby for what she did, but that part can kind of connect to.
Well, that part connects to the very, very, very last thing. At least for me, it did. Maybe you didn't look at it this way, but the last scene where Ellie's playing the guitar, right? She doesn't have her two fingers.
Yeah, she can't play the song anymore.
She can't play the song anymore.
Mhm.
But my thought process was that she's sitting there with the guitar, and then she takes the guitar and sets it up against the window. Now, my thought process here is, okay, the guitar is Joel, and her letting the guitar there with the guitar as the neck is facing out the window and Ellie's walking away is Joel looking down on Ellie.
So like, you're saying the guitar is symbolism for Joel.
It's symbolism
Is
for
that
Joel.
connection?
Yes.
That's interesting. I didn't think of that.
And I'm saying that the guitar, with her putting it like that, is saying, like, you know what, Joel, I appreciate everything you've done for me.
She takes, and to your point, she takes really good care of that guitar.
Yes.
It's always in a spot where you can see it.
Yes.
That's interesting. I didn't think of that. I wish the game would have ended. I know it can't because it's The Last of Us and it has to be not happy. I wish the game would have just ended after her and Dina.
Yes.
And
Oh my God.
I was so
Thank
happy
you.
for them.
Yes. I wanted it to
I
just
wish it just
end
ended.
right there, dude. When I thought the game was ending.
I thought so too.
I was going to text you.
I
and
thought
you're
I
gonna-
beat the game like 5 times.
I
by
thought
way.
the game was going to end when she has it's JJ, is the boy's name, the little boy's name.
I'm assuming the name JJ is from
Jesse and
Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank God we were on the same page there. I thought the game was going to end when you walk outside and you're getting his toy off the tractor and she sits up on the tractor and you're looking out across the sunset. Imagine if the game just fades right there. Oh my God, are you kidding me? That would have been amazing. The game just fades right there.
Babe probably still hated it.
Bailey still hates the game because of fucking Abby, but that's beside the point.
That's not it, but okay.
Also, before we let Bailey talk, because Bailey doesn't like the game, so I'll let him, we'll give him the floor.
Well, you guys can. Talk.
Is there any points you want to say about anything we've said so far, from your perspective? Like,
No, I'd rather just go on a rant.
okay. I didn't like playing in California, wherever you were, Santa Barbara, I think it was.
Santa Barbara, yeah.
I didn't like that whole part. I didn't think that part needed.
I think that part was. If the game was delayed because of that part, they should have just left that part out.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was either.
but-
But if that part had anything,
It just kind of drug it on for me.
it just wasn't. There wasn't anything unique about it.
Yeah.
Like it just was this.
Well, and like, there's another faction. And I think the point of it is that no matter where you go in this world, there are fucked up people.
Oh, absolutely.
There are factions that just do fucked up things. I think that's the
Absolutely.
point of it. But like, motherfucker looked like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
With his hat and shit. And you're like, who are these guys? Like, who
Yeah.
are these clowns?
Yeah.
And they were just so thrown in that it's like, you don't care about them. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't care about the wolves that much, but like, I don't know.
I want to say two things first. So, first thing I want to say is my favorite part was playing Abby of the game, which I know both of you are probably thinking I'm crazy. After playing as Abby's whole part and seeing how she went through and seeing how everything that Ellie did reflected onto Abby, seeing how that played out and seeing how her emotions changed the whole way through, and then you have Lev, which was like this spark of like, hey, this is somebody I really care about. I want to make sure that he's fine before anybody else.
Well, there's a part, not to interrupt your train of thought,
That's
but
okay.
there's a part when the wolves are going to the island, Lev's
Yeah.
island, and Lev says to Abby, he's like, look what your people are doing. And
Yeah.
she's like, no, you're my people, talking to
Yeah.
Lev. That part stood out to me too, because
Yeah.
it shows Abby cares about Lev so much that she'll go against her own basically. Continue.
I don't really have too much to say on that anymore. I just think that Abby's character really just developed more as the game went on for me personally. And I think Bailey's going to explain why he thinks that's nonsense, which is okay.
I think what's interesting about this game is how polarizing it is. You have people like yourself and me who really enjoyed the game and liked the story, and then you have somebody like Bailey who hated it. And that's fine. That's what good art does. Art's very subjective. You see, but continue.
And then the second thing I wanted to say is a question. I want to start with you, Brian, because then we can just let it go right over into Bailey. Is in the ending fight scene, you're playing as Ellie, and you're drowning Abby in the water. No flashback happens. You kill Abby. Are you happy with the game still?
I probably would have liked the game less.
I'm right there with you.
I probably would have liked the game less because that, to me, takes away the whole point.
Yes, that to me, there's if that happens, I saw it on Twitter. That's the main reason I brought it up. I saw that on Twitter that somebody said alternate ending. Ellie just drowns Abby, and then Lev is just in the boat.
Just bullying.
Yeah, he just doesn't do anything.
Poor Lev.
If-
The man was unconscious and he got a fucking switchblade into his
I
neck.
think if that is how they ended the game, I think there's absolutely no reason to play as Abby. There's no reason to play as Abby. There's none.
I have another question.
Okay, that's fine.
About the ending.
Go ahead.
If you were given, what if Naughty Dog? They never
Oh,
do
you're
this.
gonna a freaking alternate ending.
You would
Like,
never do this. They would never do this because it's Naughty Dog and they're gonna write the story they want to write,
Pick.
and that's fine.
pick an ending.
If you were given the choice, who to play as in that
God.
fight, do you like that or not?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
So you would have played as Abby.
No, I still would have played as Ellie, but I think it would have been cool because that could have been a thing. Like if you could have saved, like if anywhere you could have saved, like right there, right, it auto saved for you right there before that happened, and then you could have played one side as Ellie and see what happened, and then played the other side as Abby and see what happened, and see what would happen if, Ellie killed Abby and then Abby killed Ellie. See what would have happened. I think that would have been cool. I'm glad they didn't do that because I don't think I would have been able to make that choice.
Well, again, and Naughty Dog's gonna tell their story.
Yeah.
How they want to tell it. It's
Yeah.
How about you, Ellie? Would that have made the ending any better for you?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't think I have anything else to say. Bailey's going to go on a rant, and then me and Brian are going to interject because...
Real quick before he goes, I like the duality of it. I like
Yeah.
how Abby and Ellie are kind of the same.
They really
in terms
are.
of what they're out to do. I think it's just so much more than just a revenge plot. I've seen that so much that they don't have to tell me violence is bad. That's not the point of the game. The point of the game is the obsession with violence and what... I think it's more about obsession rather than revenge for me. Because you can be obsessed with anything, and you can be obsessed with your job, with your school, whatever, and it can take you away from points in life that you won't be able to get back. But yeah, I like Dina's character a lot too. She was really cool. She really grew on me as it went on. I wasn't big on Jesse. He didn't really do much for me.
Yo, listen. I knew I was gonna like Abby from the beginning. When he comes booing out of the back of the theater and she just fucking yops him right in the face, dude. I was like, yes! Thank God he's gone. I fucking love that. But anyway, I have no more to say.
I think also, like, it showed you just at any time one of these characters can just die. And they start that with Joel right off jump. And I'll toss it to Bailey now because that's one of the biggest problems he has with the game.
Yep.
So
Go ahead, Bailey.
the floor is yours.
My problem isn't that Joel died. Yeah, I think they handled it poorly. In my opinion, the whole situation that just kind of happens it seems so outside the characters.
So, I don't mean to interject already. Thing I've been seeing with people, now that we finished the game, I kind of go on and listen to some shit. The point some people are making, I want to see if, I'm assuming you're not going to buy it, but do you think that Joel being removed from his old life, being in the camp, being out to rescue people and bring them to Jackson, that doesn't change anything for them saying their names?
When a soldier comes home and they're off duty for a while, they still at any point can that switch, that survival instinct. Like Joel's whole life he's been a survivor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, say someone takes like 2 tours or whatever in the military. I know this is might be a weird analogy, but like when they're out there in that survival setting, like that, it just clicks. You know what I mean? Like, this is what they've been doing their whole life. They've been surviving by any means, right? And then they come home. You see how hard it is for them to adjust. So 5 years isn't going to change how Joel or Tommy, because Tommy is also a hardened survivor at this point too. Like, these are guys who have. I don't remember how old Joel is in the very start of the first game.
40s, 50s.
Well, no, at the start he's not. At the second one he's 50 something. So in the beginning
so
of the
probably
first
like
one,
47 or something.
Well,
because if he's in his 50s and it's 5 years later, it's got to be at least 45.
yeah, I'm talking about the very start, when the outbreak first happens.
Yeah.
He's one that. Well, I want to make
Oh,
sense.
okay, I got you.
Yeah,
Oh,
he'd probably be like his
You're
30s.
talking about with Sarah and everything.
Yeah. So, like, he's been surviving for a while. For pretty much, like, half his life almost at this point. Almost. Oh, yeah. Almost.
Just
20 years.
Yeah.
Give or
Yeah,
take,
pretty
you know?
much. So, 5 years, and especially because he's still actively going out and clearing places, he's still going to be on guard. He's not going to be someone who lets his guard down easily. And he proves that in the first game when you meet Sam and Henry. And, Ellie is the one who persuades Joel to trust them. Joel doesn't trust shit. He looks at everything as a suspect, as a danger, as something that could go wrong. And it's same with Tommy. I guarantee you Tommy, obviously this isn't information we have, but Tommy was a Firefly member for a while, so he's kind of military, I guess you could say. He's like militia. So, he's someone who's a survivor and knows what it takes to survive. So, I don't believe them, and then them helping Abby, that's one thing, because obviously they're not just going to randomly kill her or leave her for the zombies. Like, I get why they helped.
Runners, not zombies.
Whatever, you know what I mean. But going back to the place where, like, the lodge that, like, Abby and her friends were holed up at, I mean, I kind of, like, that doesn't bother, like, I kind of get why they would go back, because they're trying to get away from the zombies, right?
Well, that
or
and
the
there's
runners.
and there's a snowstorm happening at the same time, so you're not really going to go any further.
Yeah. So, I get that, but how they just throw out their names there, it seems uncharacteristic and plot convenient, because it's not true to these characters.
See, I'm going to be dead ass honest with you. I didn't even none of that when I saw that scene play out and I heard them say, "Oh, I'm Joel and I'm Tommy." Like, I didn't think two things of it. I didn't think, "Oh, Joel slipped." You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't in my mind when I played that part.
That also doesn't play in my mind either, because if you'd say to me, "My name's Bailey," what am I supposed to say? Oh, I just don't have a name.
So you come up with something different, because it's also
I don't see it, but
It's
I agree with you that they are these veterans of being cautious, but at the same time, like, how are they supposed to know that these people are trying to kill them?
well, that's why they're always cautious. Like, that's why Joe's always cautious. He never trusts too easy.
I think too. There's also a symbolism for Joel's character in general, where this is the one time he slips up, or this is the one time he's not super extra cautious, and it costs him his life. So I think
it's
that
out of his
also.
character. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think
it doesn't make
that's-
sense in the universe.
I think that's part of.
I think, well, in my opinion,
I think that's just part of that.
I mean,
You can think that's stupid. I just think that's.
No, yeah, in my opinion, if that is what they meant to be, like, this is just where he slips up and he pays for it, I think that's very plot convenient and lazy writing, that they couldn't have handled it in a better way. Like,
How do you fix that then, though?
I'm not a writer. I don't know. Like,
But that's what
can't-
I mean, though.
Well, they had what I'm saying is, like, yeah, you could say that, but they also had 7 years to do this, to make the story better, to make it make more sense in my opinion, and not just seem kind of lazy. Because to me, like I said, like, you guys disagree, but it seems extremely out of character. It seems very plot convenient, and in the situation how they end up running into Abby also seems plot convenient. Now it's like, what are the odds? I know they had to, like, meet up somehow if they were going to kill Joel, and that's fine. But, like, the fact that they just kind of fall in her lap, that just seems so lazy to me. Like, if they could have done it so much better. Now you asked me how would have I wrote it, right? Easily, I feel like it would have made so much more sense. I know they had the blizzard, but you don't even need to have the blizzard, right? You could have just had it so, because, like, they already talk about when Owen shows Abby, like, the town, right? When you're on that cliffside with him, you could, and they're both talking about how they could do something to get him out, or to see if he's there, pull somebody,
Kinda draw
like a
him
guard
out,
out, and see, or not someone a guard, but someone who's running like a route, and just kind of get information. You could have done something so like that. You could have had a whole segment with Abby in the very beginning of the game, how you're going on a stealth mission to find some information on if Joel is down in that town. You could have done something like that.
So
and
you're
then-
thinking just a little more build up.
Yeah, it could have been more build up. It could have been like, because like it just feels
See,
so
that's
lazy.
fair. I would agree with you more there. I'm not really upset with the whole Joel slip up thing as you are, but I would agree like some more build up there and letting me play as Abby a little bit more than just walking around in the snow. And then I agree with that part where it is kind of convenient that, hey, all of a sudden. But I'm also, a part of me is also like, it's a video game too. You know what I mean? Like a game can't be.
That is
You know
true,
what I mean?
but
You
it's
know what
like
I mean?
it's a Naughty Dog game. These video games are movies.
Sure,
We've
but-
talked about this before.
Sure, but to be fair, I think this game could have been 40 hours if they wanted to write the full.
This game could have been 100 hours. If they
I don't know about that.
If
But they could make a unit.
if they really wanted to go into as much detail as you wanted to talk about,
And I don't, for the record, I don't think Bailey wants
No.
him to go into that level of detail, but I think just some
No,
more
but I'm
build
just-
up would help.
but I'm just saying.
Am I correct in saying I
I
don't
just
want
want it to make more sense because it doesn't make sense.
So the build up would.
I feel
more
like,
context.
I
would've-
feel like Joel deserved a better death because like he may be a bad person. I get that bad things happen to bad people, but like play as a character that has he done bad things? Yes, but as a player, as a character, a lot of people have loved for like 7 years now. The game's been out for. And it just feels like they handled it so lazily.
See,
like,
I don't.
poorly.
I think the death is. I don't think it's bad.
I don't mind a brutal death either.
No,
Like,
I'm not saying the brutal part of it. I think it's.
I think the death is fitting.
I mean, you look at what Joel did at the end of Last of Us 1. He literally took the cure away from everybody else. So all the lives that could have saved, all of what that would have done for civilization at that time, all the humanity, you can understand where a lot of people are going to be pissed off, especially when you killed somebody's dad, in Abby's
And
point of view.
Just to maybe because I'm not remembering, why are they? Okay, like Owen shows Abby that town, but they don't have any idea that Joel's in there.
I
Correct?
think they have
No.
a rough idea that he might be here.
Well, I think that they got word from a traveler.
Or something, because
Okay.
obviously they're running routes and shit,
Yeah.
so somebody's gonna see them.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
just didn't know exactly where it was.
Okay.
They were more so there to try to get information
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wasn't.
rather than just end up.
That's what I was.
I see what you're saying.
So
I see
okay,
what you're
so
saying.
I'm going to agree with you then, Bailey, that the beginning where you just play as Abby and you're running through the snow is very.
I don't
bad.
think you need. I don't think we needed that part.
No, you
I
didn't.
don't. I agree. I'll agree with you there. I don't think you need that, but at the same time, I don't think there's a way to write that first part with enough detail that you know that Joe is fully Joel is fully there. You know what I mean? Like I think that you would have to add so much more to the game.
You would have to. It's tricky because with how they wanted the surprise in the game to be
Yes.
that you play as Abby for the full
Yes,
second half of the
that's
game.
exactly what I'm
And
talking about.
The tough part with playing as Abby in the beginning is that it's only for a little bit, but they don't want you to think you're going to come back to
Yes,
this character.
yes.
And it got me. I think it got
Yeah,
you.
yep.
Did it surprise you that you played as Abby? Not that if you liked it or not, but did
It
you?
surprised me that they would make me play as Abby. Because like I feel like with
And
the
again,
thing,
I think that's what they did so well is they made you feel, at least for me, and you didn't like playing as Abby, right? That evoked an emotion out
that
of you.
dragged the game out. So
Okay,
it just
but
made me bored.
I'm in the emotion side. I'm not talking about story. I'm not talking about.
It annoyed me. Yeah.
Yes, you didn't like playing as the person that killed one of your favorite characters. I didn't like it when Ellie was just fucking running around just absolutely killing people. Had nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sure, Owen and pregnant girl and
Mel.
and black chick
Nora.
I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names. They didn't do anything.
No.
They were in the room when Joel was murdered by Abby.
Yeah.
That's the only. Well, and then Manny spits at Joel's dead.
Calls him pendejo.
Yeah, and then he gets fucking domed then too.
Yeah.
But they didn't do anything. They had, but when you are so obsessed with that revenge, that drags everybody else into it.
Yeah.
But continue. I don't. Go ahead, and then I want Bailey to make sure he can say everything he wants
Yeah,
to.
the only part that I was really mad about playing as Ellie is when you killed Nora, because really Nora didn't
She was gonna die anyway. It doesn't matter.
No. But that's the part that bothered me is like you were killing a person that was trying to help the people that were potentially.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm following you, and I think it connects back to the whole idea that Joel took that.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing as the Fireflies are. Fireflies really, actually, in the first game, aren't bad guys.
No.
They're seen by the general public in that game as people are trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And you see him as a bad guy because they have Ellie, and you have this relationship with Ellie, and that's like the daughter. You know, you really care about her, so of course you're gonna save her. But anyway, continue, Beth. So beside so you don't like Abby's part, you don't like Joel's death. I'm trying to think of some other parts of the game.
I mean, I have it. Like,
You like the Lev part?
Yeah, I mean, that was my favorite part about the Abby storyline. I mean, I have all the things that I want to talk about.
Okay,
right
cool,
here.
cool.
That's why.
Sorry.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I came prepared.
Yeah. Well, I was just writing that up as you guys were talking, but so yeah, I feel like there was a lot of plot holes and plot conveniences. I feel like the death was handled poorly. I feel like it was inconsistent within the Last of Us universe. Just like kind of how like. Do you guys get what I'm saying?
That's
How
speaking to the Joel part.
Well, yeah.
Of him
just-
giving his name.
Yeah.
Do you have any other examples of that? I'm just curious.
Oh, of inconsistency?
Like within the universe.
Yes, I
I'm
do
really
actually.
confused.
The ending is very, and so like you were saying actually, and this is, I'm glad you said it. How Ellie is killing all these random people, right?
Uh-huh.
To get to Abby,
Uh-huh.
and you get to Abby, and you have a flashback of the man she killed, the man that is your father figure,
Mm-hmm.
and she bites your fingers off. And
That part was weird. I don't like that.
You're obsessed with killing her this whole time, right? And you kill so many countless people who have nothing to do with it. And then you get to the last person you have to kill, and you have a flashback of your father figure, the man she killed, and then that you witnessed her kill, and then you're like, nah, I'm good. I made this whole trip. Dina didn't want me to. The love of my life didn't want me to.
I can see where you're upset with that. I
You-
truly can.
At least I can understand why you're upset with the ending.
It's inconsistent, and it's like,
But-
it's just like, you have her dead to right. You know all the things she did. And again, it's like you said, you killed all these random people.
Well, that's the thing that's
like wolves that had nothing to do with it, right?
I'm really not trying to take you away from your points, but this is the thing in video games just in general is Nathan Drake, everybody loves that guy as like a hero. Motherfuckers he's just killing thousands of
Exactly,
people
yeah.
and nobody. But continue.
So that's like what I say because
So
I
it's
saw
empty.
like yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's
Because
inconsistent.
you see Abby's revenge fulfilled right away in the beginning of the game, but I don't think and it's I'm not trying to say I don't want you to think that I'm saying what your thoughts are wrong. I think the point Naughty Dog was trying to drive home was that Ellie wouldn't have felt any better had she killed Abby at that point, because Abby's like, she goes from being fucking The Rock to fucking Pebble, you know what I mean? Like, she's super skinny and shit.
Well, and another thing is,
And like I don't like how Ellie goes out of her way. I agree with you on this. I don't like how she goes out of her way to literally go and cut them both down and like let them just walk a little bit to the boat, and it's just like, okay, now we're gonna
exactly
fight.
my point too.
I don't love
she
that
could have
part.
just all she had to do is she sees her tied up. She just has to leave
Just
with
leave.
that. That's all she has to do.
At least cut down my man Lev though. He don't deserve that shit.
Well, I mean, then again, I mean, he's
Here's my
technically still
prediction.
accomplished
Last
still.
of Us Part 3. You're gonna be
Yeah,
Ellie.
'cause there is gonna be a third
You're gonna
one.
be Ellie and Lev.
I don't even want to know.
That'd be lit.
I don't even want to know.
I want to play as Lev. Can we play as Lev?
But so like
Imagine how
yeah,
sick Lev would be. He'd have like tribal tattoos and shit. He'd seen some shit, yo. He's seen some shit.
No.
He had to kill his own mom. Like, that's fucking wild.
Yeah, that is fucking wild. That is
But,
fucking wild.
so I feel like
the Lev of us.
Shut up, bro. So I just feel like a lot of the things that happened in the game were inconsistent. It was bad pacing.
Okay, can we pause the pacing because I wanted to bring that up too.
Yeah.
I didn't mind day 1, day 2. Does it go up to 3?
Yeah.
Day 3 is Ellie. I didn't like day 1 as Abby.
Yeah.
Is that the one where you're? I love. Shout out! I'm a Seahawks fan. I got my shirt on. They had the stadium in there. That was pretty cool. I liked seeing that part of it. But like, I didn't have to go through the train yard.
That's another thing, dude.
And they got bombarded at the convenience store. I'm like, okay, I see what. It wasn't until the Lev part, and I've said that it isn't until the Lev part where I start liking Abby's story.
The thing for me also is that you're working all this way as Ellie. You reach like the climax of them interacting, and then they bring you back to a flashback.
Well, That's
and it's like,
part
bro,
of the.
you slowed me though. You went me from 100 to 0. Okay, and
build it
then
back up.
to build it back up all over again, it dragged on after a while. And initially, I know you guys didn't have a problem with it, but like, I didn't like Abby at all. Like, this is a character I hated the whole game, and then she just blasts Jesse in the face. Credit, I think a lot of the side characters in this game were absolutely meaningless.
See, I didn't give a single
That's
fuck
what I'm
about
saying,
Jesse.
like,
He was annoying as fuck.
That's another
Fuck
thing.
Jesse.
Another thing why I think this story was written very poorly is in the first game, they're really good at making you care about other characters like Henry and Sam and all that. But when you get to this game, like, I couldn't give a fuck about Jesse. Like, I didn't really feel like I liked him.
but I think
I didn't. The same thing with Dina. I didn't like. Dina's character wasn't too interesting to me. Like, I didn't think they wrote her as good as they could have, or just, or like even on what's it called, Abby's side. I don't really care about Manny. I don't care about Mel. I don't care about Owen. Like, I didn't care about any of these side characters. Like, already because I disliked Abby, I didn't really like the other side characters. So, and it's
Well,
just
that's gonna happen. If you don't like the one, you're not gonna
Yeah,
like anything
exactly.
associated with
Yeah,
that
and
character.
also, it's just like the deaths felt so meaningless. Like, Jesse gets yopped in the face. Okay, that felt meaningless. Manny just gets yopped in the face too. Okay, cool. So 2 males got killed, and you show it vice versa. That I didn't really care about that because I didn't feel anything for either of those characters. They tried to do a cool little pregnant thing where Abby goes to kill a pregnant chick, and then
Ellie kills the
Ellie
pregnant chick
Ellie
and
kills
the
the
kid.
pregnant child. Yeah, Ellie does. So it's like, okay.
Questionable.
So if you think about it, the death tally on both sides is about the
is
same,
equal.
right?
Yeah.
Because Mel counts as 2. Sorry, continue.
No, but it just like I also thought real quick. I don't want to stay too long on this, but the sex scene was weird as fuck. That shit was weird.
Oh, and the fucking boat.
That shit was so weird, bro.
Yeah,
That was so weird.
that part was a little
I
weird.
did not, dude. Abby doesn't have tits, by the way. She has pecs.
So if I wish this is gonna sound really dumb.
No, I think I know
I
what you're
wish
going to say.
Abby didn't look like what she looked
Yes.
Oh, you're lucky
'Cause,
we're
like,
not popular.
She walked around like,
dude. You're so lucky we're not popular because if we were, we would get
oh yeah,
canceled.
I would just they'd
We
be
would
like
get
cancel
canceled.
Bright Allison. I was like, fuck
No,
yeah,
but
I
I
can Bright
think
Allison
that's
too.
Listen, it's okay that her character is.
Well, because they give you the reasoning why she's so built is
Yes.
because she's lifting and she's turning this killing machine that
Yeah.
she thinks she needs to be to kill Joel.
Yes, her whole life has been training.
Which you don't like, and that's fine. I'm not, I'm not
Her,
trying
her
to.
whole
I'm not
life
trying
has
to
been
convince you.
training to build up to this point to get to revenge. So I understand completely why. Because she even says in the one part of the game, she goes, "Oh yeah, I just hit 180 pounds." Like, I don't
You're
know
like,
if that's something to be
"God damn."
proud of, but like, I understand why
It's
she
like lifting
has
Jordan.
that. Bitch, I'm like 130. The fuck. Not even. You got to throw like 50-pound weights on. But like, I understand
That's good
why
math.
she
Math checks out.
is getting to that.
Yeah, she's this killing machine. She's the
Yeah.
top killer of the wolves, and then she meets Lev, and that humanized.
That's another thing. It's like they want to try to humanize Abby, which I get, but it's like they do
something
so
to
many
say.
certain things that dehumanize her. Also, like I don't know about you guys.
like
and-
taking a 9-iron to Joel's skull.
yeah, so like maybe.
I love that it was done with the golf club, by the way.
Oh yeah, you just like golf,
Made me
but
feel
it's like
good.
the same thing with Ellie. Like I think they ruined Ellie's character in this too. I like Ellie less now. Than
I don't
did
love
before.
Ellie either, and I
loved
that,
Ellie in the first game.
I love that my perspectives on these characters change because I think that you're going to I don't know how to word this. You're going to like Ellie more.
just because you have a history with her.
Well, exactly, and you remember her and kind of where she comes from, whereas you don't know where Abby comes from, then you do later. But like, I didn't like doing a lot of things with Ellie. You know
Yeah,
what
they
I mean?
made Ellie
Like-
do a lot of things.
like-
It's just like so. It's like exactly okay. So like we're saying, it's like Ellie is just killing all these people that have nothing to do with it, and it's kind of the same. Like when she kills Mel, right? She doesn't realize she's pregnant, first off, and then she feels terrible. Like she vomits.
Yeah.
It went out. So they humanize Ellie a good bit because it's not like she realized it, and it's not like she wanted to kill those two either. She didn't try it. I get the whole thing with Nora was kind of brutal. but
Nora
it's-
was going down at either.
Yeah,
Nora was
exactly.
going down
That's
either
what
way
I'm
you
saying.
look at
And
it.
it's like
Fuck Nora.
It's
I don't even know the bitch's name.
No.
It's like what Ellie says. She was like, "Why would I tell you where Abby is?" She's like, "I can make this quick." Like she's saying, "I won't I'll give you mercy." I mean, if I'm Nora, I'm
I would
doing.
have said, I'll make this quick, and then just dipped.
Imagine the scene. Imagine she just walks out the door.
Yeah.
Imagine.
So like you said,
I'll make this quick with a fucking pipe in my head. Nah,
so
fuck
like
you.
they try to humanize Ellie's character a lot, and they do it more so better than I think they do with Abby. But then again, like I said, you go on and kill all these random people, and then you get to the point where like I disliked because I hated Abby this whole game. So when I had to fight Ellie, I was just like, I don't want to fight Ellie. I hate Abby.
Yo, low key about that fight. I was really thrown off. Like I didn't. It was weird playing that.
I thought I was
And
going to switch over
want
to Ellie. I was like,
I didn't want to do that part, but the poor bitch, my Abby, was getting her legs blown off. Constantly.
Yes, dude.
The first few tries it sucked.
I couldn't remember where she put the fucking pipe
It's like the
bombs.
last one that before you get the cutscene
Yes.
with Dina. It's like I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I got some random glitch where we don't have video, so you're not gonna be able to see me. But like I'm like walking around like this and shit, right? And I'm like Ellie's where the guitar is, and I'm like through a wall, and I beat the shit out of her.
Well, dude, the part that pissed me off the most was like,
We gotta get video.
I
That would've been
have
legendary.
the fucking bottle in my hand, and Ellie is literally from me to Bailey, which is not far, by the way. We're really close. And I throw the fucking bottle, and she dodges it. Like, how the fuck did she dodge that shit? Like, I'm literally a meter away from her, and she just fucking, oh shit, there's a bottle coming at me. Like, what the fuck was that? And then she just fucking yopped my ass with a fucking shotgun. I'm like, man, fuck this game.
and then like I was saying, they try to humanize
You haven't.
Abby
I didn't mean
the
to interrupt
whole-
you. You have not said a part of the game that was my biggest bitch about the entire game, and you have not said it yet.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't.
So another thing I didn't like, I wanted to talk about. Okay, so when they get the whole, so like you saw how Ellie was like, oh my god, I accidentally killed a pregnant woman, and then like they
I
get
didn't
to,
catch that part. I didn't catch that the first time around. I
And
didn't
then
know
they-
Mel was pregnant when I killed her.
and then they get to Dina's
You're not
part.
supposed to know
I mean,
her.
they get to the part where she's gonna kill Dina, and she's like,
Well,
she's
I thought you
pregnant. She's like, good. Like, oh, okay, so
Well, I think that's part of the. In my mind, that's part of the blind obsession with.
yeah,
The blind
well,
obsession
rage,
with revenge. You know,
And then
you do
like,
whatever.
They
you
to talk
don't- you
about
want
how
shit.
Abby is this whole just scar killer. She's a top scar killer. These are people that like she doesn't know either, and she's just randomly murdering them, just like the way Ellie's randomly murdering all these wolves. And then what was the other part I was gonna say? You get to the part where, like you said, like Lev is like, she was like, what you were saying about where Abby says, "You're my people." You spent like your how many years with the wolves, and you just meet this Lev character. And I like Lev and Yara, but you're just like, fuck these people I spent my whole life with.
Yeah, but I think the reason she says that is because their motto as a group has changed.
So, like, I think too, the interactions with Lev at that Skybridge part, he says about how like I think Lev shows innocence from, you know,
The outside.
so it's like looking at, this is a weird analogy, but when you think of religion, you think of the extremists who are like, thou shalt not masturbate or you're gonna die or some dumb shit like that.
That
But like,
which is
but like but then there's that one kid that's like truly believes in what this all stands for, and I really liked hearing that, and I think it gave Abby some more perspective on what is she. She continues to kill him. I'm not excusing that
Yeah,
part,
yeah.
but like I think that's what gives her
I
like.
get what you're
oh, that-
saying, but it just doesn't. It just seems weird, because she's a top scar killer. She hates scars, and credit she helps these people so she can survive.
She
in
hates
the
them
very
until she
beginning.
meets them, though.
Yeah, and then I get what they're trying to do, but it's just like, okay, you're gonna do this, and then you're just gonna kill all these wolves again. These people, these are your people, and that's the thing that doesn't make too much sense to me.
Okay, that's fair.
Like that just seems weird. It doesn't make too much sense.
fair.
Is there anything else I want to talk about? The side characters felt completely useless.
I think
I don't know.
To me,
I just did not.
so
care for
I want
them.
to talk about on the side characters. So I think from the first one, you have a bunch of side characters that the game really makes you appreciate, right? Whereas I think in this one, you have a lot of side characters, but there's only a handful on each side that you're really only supposed to care
for
about.
me, I was gonna make this point too. For me, it was only one on each side. I cared about Dina and I cared about Ellen. That was about it.
See, I cared about Nora on Abby's side only because
Which one's Nora?
she's the medic.
the black chick.
The
I don't give a fuck about Nora.
But the only reason I care is because
Did we kill
she's-
her quickly, or we let her?
No, she's
No,
the one
you're
that we
the
let in
one
the
you beat.
hospital. She's the one in the hospital where she's like, I'm not gonna get my friend. You fucking beat her ass with the pipe.
Oh, we didn't let her turn.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah, but the only
How
reason
did you
I
not realize that?
the only reason I care
been
for
a
her
while.
is because she's trying to, help
Yeah.
the people that don't have. She doesn't have a choice
Uh-huh.
to help those people, right? Because if she doesn't help them, then they're gonna get either turned or fucking who knows what'll happen, right? So I didn't care for her dying the way she did, but I understand why she died the way she did, but that's a different story.
And then another thing is like with Tommy, dude, I thought the guy was fucking dead.
I thought
And
he
then
was
all
dead.
of a sudden he was alive. I was like, dude,
So
what?
I thought he was dead at least 4 times in this game. Like
Yeah.
like he just appears and you just shove him off the fucking pier. Like you
Honestly,
texted me.
I don't know if you guys saw
You're
this.
like, is Tommy the guy you just shove off the
Oh
pier?
yeah, I did text you that. I did text you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait, is that fucking Tommy who just yaps fucking Miguel in the dome? It was fucking
Manny. It was
Manny
Manny.
Miguel, yeah. Manny. Fucking Manny
you
Miguel.
guys, I would have liked. I want to interested in you guys.
You got
thinking.
Joe and Miguel.
Would you guys have liked this game more if you would have played as Ellie and Tommy instead?
No, because I fucking hate Tommy.
You don't like Tommy?
I don't like Tommy either.
Fuck
Oh,
Tommy.
okay.
I hate
I-
Tommy.
I never. I mean,
I wish she would have died on that fucking pier. I swear on my life. When she fucking yeets him off the pier, dude, I wish she just would have leaned over the pier
I
and
hated
just fucking
Tommy.
boop!
I hated
Nobody
Tommy
saw
even
that. That was
more.
fucking legendary.
I hated Tommy even more when he tried to get Ellie to go
Yes.
with him. Too.
Oh my God.
I hated him even more. You saw you didn't have an eye
Yeah.
and shit. Like, oh, you should have just you escaped death 7 times, but my man Joel got fucking. He had like a 120 shot to the flag and got hit by the 9-iron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right, so I'll wrap what up I have to say. In conclusion, my points on why
I barely wrote a whole 5-paragraph essay.
On
you
why I
really?
didn't like the game. No,
Oh.
I think it had bad pacing. I think it handled Joel's death poorly. I felt like a lot of the things that happened were inconsistent within its universe. There were a lot of plot holes and plot conveniences. The side characters felt meaningless. I did not like playing with Abby. The ending felt poorly written just to fit its narrative, and it felt nonsensical given the context. Like, I don't know about you guys, so like this bitch just bit off your finger. Like, I feel like I would have drowned.
I
that
hate
bitch.
when people bite fingers. Like,
Yeah,
they're fucking Cheez-Its.
I actually agree with you on that one. That one I actually agree with you a lot on.
And then I had same gameplay, just because like it felt like it was upgraded in some sense, but I feel like it could have been better. But like I don't play The Last of Us for its gameplay.
well,
Yeah.
and not only that,
And
but
then
I
we'll
feel
hold
like
my last point, just
Okay,
real
go
quick.
ahead, go ahead.
It felt like it dragged on after a while. I feel like this game was too long.
I can agree with that.
But and then that's mainly my main gripes that I could.
Is
come
there
up with on
anything
the spot.
before Jordan goes? Is there anything you liked about the game? Any specific? about
Yeah, actually, I like the flashbacks.
Because I haven't heard any positive. Like we haven't really talked about
Yeah.
anything positive. You like? I love the flashbacks.
I love the flashbacks on Ellie's side. I
You
feel
don't like? You don't like the Abby's? I mean, I know you don't like Abby.
no,
but
I feel like the Abby
zebra one didn't get
timeline
you?
was really cool. I mean, that was cool, but
Zebra
like,
fucked me up.
But like honestly, the thing with Abby is like there was flashbacks inside of flashbacks, and I was like, dude, what is going on?
I think the problem with Abby's flashbacks are they're too close to the present.
Yeah,
So like when
that
you're
too.
going into the aquarium when Owen fucked Mel and like
Yeah.
you find out that she's pregnant, you're doing the archery game. Do you guys do the archery game?
Yes.
Yeah, that
I
felt
was
too close.
top on that bitch.
I was
Same.
too.
I had 12. What'd you get?
You're top 2 and I'm not 2. I think I had like 12.
Go.
'Cause I
That's
couldn't
what I
find them.
did.
I'm just looking
I think that's the
around.
most.
Yeah, I think 12
that's
is the
I
most.
was like, I don't see any other ones. But kept making me look.
So I really liked how the enemies had names.
Oh yeah.
I liked when they killed.
Except
I saw a lot of people making memes about it, but I thought it was cool.
No,
About
what is
how-
the meme? You want to know why it's a meme?
Yeah.
Because a bitch named Emily died like 10 times.
Um,
Emily, no! Like, this is the 20th Emily I killed.
but like, I think that was kind of cool. I thought the graphics were good.
Why are the most basic names? Why was it like,
I
yo,
don't know.
my homie Jerome?
yeah.
Instead
But,
it's Emily and like, John!
Yeah,
But,
I
I like how the enemies had names, like all NPCs. I felt like the graphics were good. Obviously, the improved crafting was really nice. Like I said, I liked the flashbacks with Ellie. I liked Yara and Lev's story. I thought that was really cool.
That's-
Oh, another thing, they just kill fucking Yara off like it's nothing.
But I think
But she has the best death.
I was just getting ready to
She
say
has the best
her
death in the
death,
whole game.
death is the best.
And
guys are
then the
gonna-
other thing
you guys
is,
are-
we don't know if Isaac's dead or not.
Oh, he's definitely fucking dead.
Well, they
Okay,
don't
so-
confirm. Like, they
Yeah,
don't
but he's definitely fucking
Well,
dead.
if
She's
you think
fucking-
Tommy would be dead, the bitch got his head blown out, back of the head through his eye, and you would think he's dead. Like, and they don't, and like you find out at the end that he's not dead. And then the thing that Isaac is just like, I feel like I didn't know if he's dead or not. The weapons were cool. Voice acting was great. Obviously, like
The animations. And
Yeah,
shit.
the animations
it's-
were great.
Like when you're choking a bitch out, you're like,
yeah, that was really cool.
choking Emily
Yeah. But
that's great.
Dude, I thought it was a song. What song when they say like
Oh.
hitting that bitch when I'm choking her out? What fucking song is that?
I don't want to know.
What song is that?
But
I really
I
love the song
thought the playing the guitar thing was really cool.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, we didn't
A
even talk
lot.
about that. And the fact that it really broke me when she couldn't play the song at the end.
Yeah.
Dude, that killed
Did you
me.
did you like not the like the boat ending and all that shit, but like the scenes with like the farmhouse? Did you like those? Like the one with Dina, did you like? and then when you go back to the farmhouse and Dina's not there anymore. Did you like that?
Yeah, I didn't mind this.
I think
What I want to know is like because it looks like they're gonna have a third game.
I don't know if a third game, but it looks like this game's gonna have DLC.
No,
So-
they said it's not.
Oh, it's
They
not.
said there's not gonna be any DLC.
So I don't know if there's gonna be a third game or what they're gonna do, but I just want to know what they're gonna do because it's like for Ellie, I feel like you fucking took her character upside down and just drove.
She's
drove her
Ellie's
through the
Ellie's just fucking.
mud.
She's seen some shit.
Yeah.
Like,
And it also feels like they just changed her character so much in ways that just don't make sense because there's like from my previous gripes about it.
so
But that's all I have to say, good and bad, about this game.
Well,
do you guys,
okay,
do you guys
so-
have anything else to say? Because after that, I want to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10.
So-
yeah, I do have stuff I want to say.
I'm
so
not
go
gonna
ahead.
rate it because I don't like rating games on a 10 scale. I'll just say I really like the game, and my points make you can kind of put what I've said into a number. But talking to you now and hearing what you liked about the game, I'm glad I got to hear that finally because I think you make fair points. Like I think it's just so interesting how two different people can play the same game and the same story and just take whether you like it or not, like it doesn't matter, but just interpretation on it. I love that about fiction. I liked how you said it drug out because the game's too long. It's one of my biggest gripes with it. And what I want to say yet is because we are almost at 2 hours recording.
Jesus fuck.
But this is really good conversation. What was your biggest gripe with the game? What is it? The fucking Resident Evil part?
No.
Did you like that boss battle?
Yeah. Oh, I love that boss battle.
The fucking-
Oh,
I
that
love
was
that.
kind of Resident Evil-esque.
I felt like I was just running around as Chris or Leon.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of the thing with I didn't like fighting zombies either. I thought it was too easy.
I got to a point, dude, where like I was done with the combat in that game.
Yeah.
Seriously, like
Because I feel like, especially with zombies, like I said this before, but it felt like when I fought humans, because the NPCs were a little smarter, like I had to do some kind of things a certain way. But with the NPCs, literally, I saw a guy play the game, and all he had to do was sit there and press L1 at the right time to dodge and just punch him. The
I
whole
didn't like
time.
the dodge mechanic.
So like the
That
zombies.
pissed me off because I could never get. I'm just bad at video games, so I just couldn't get the timing right.
The dodge I actually thought was cool if you
I didn't mind it, but it
utilized
just,
it right,
it just
but
made like the zombies so much easier to fight. It felt
Well, that's
like
the
it was
point.
just an inconvenience and an annoyance
Yeah.
to run into them.
Well, it was also an inconvenience when it's fucking 22 motherfuckers and like I crawl through water. That is the dumbest shit ever.
Oh,
I won't get over that.
Another thing.
I'm surprised you didn't say you hated that because that shit was dumb. Maybe
Well,
I'm just bad at video games. Do you know what part I'm talking about?
yes. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so you're escaping through the island. This is like right after fucking Yara dies.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and it's
never
like,
mind.
oh, we gotta sneak through, and it's like
Yeah.
use waterway passages. You're like, bitch, what? I hated that. What was your biggest complaint about the game?
So you talked about
What part didn't you like? I'm
you
curious.
talked about Joel and Tommy, that whole beginning part about how they're these top like people, and like they're always secretive and they don't give their name out, and they've been these hardened veterans
Yeah.
through these years of stuff, and that's what Joel's been training Ellie to be, this veteran of you don't crack, you don't do all this stuff, you do this. So then how was your biggest complaint in the game not when Ellie didn't make sure she had her map?
Oh, that I forgot about
Oh.
that. That too. That felt so dumb.
I
And then again, it's like
didn't
it's
even think
another
of that.
plot
That
convenience.
is my biggest complaint about the
you
whole
know
entire
what? God,
game.
I
You
forgot
know what?
about that.
I didn't even think of. I totally forgot about that because
I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't like that either.
That is
annoyed
my
the fuck
biggest
out of me.
complaint of the game
that's
right there.
okay. So
When
when you
she
talk-
dropped her map, as soon as that happened, it was like she dropped her map. And
I
I was
did
like,
the-
and then
I
when it
did
switched
the
over to
same thing.
and then when you get to the point where it's like Abby found you, I was like, oh, who could have told you this was gonna happen?
I said to Brian, I was like, because I was mad about the map, but then I said to Brian, I was like, how did Abby know you were there? And you're like, the map. And I was like, oh, the fucking map that she dropped back in the
So-
fucking aquarium.
It's like that's another thing. It just felt lazy and plot
Well,
convenient.
I don't think it's lazy, but I just think
I think it is plot convenient.
that is complete. I don't think it's lazy, but I think it's plot convenient.
I think plot convenience is lazy right?
I think
I don't think it is
But
a-
I think that ties into what Jordan was saying about how Joel kind of trained Ellie to be this person, and you see Ellie slip up because
Yeah.
she
and
is human.
Oh my god! And yeah, that's true. And it's like another.
which I think is fine.
And you just killed a pregnant bitch.
Yeah, which is fine.
If I killed a
that's
pregnant bitch, I wouldn't be looking for
I
no
know,
fucking map.
I think
you know what I mean?
I think the dropped map plays into the story, but I just think
Well,
that's
obviously.
that's my no. But I meant like you talking about plot convenience
Okay,
and stuff.
I got you. Yeah.
I just think that of all things, I don't care that Joel gave his name, because I think that's just like just him trying to be friendly and stuff like that. and trying to get to know the person so they feel maybe more comfortable, whatever. But you've been covering your tracks this entire time, and how would you not just check to think that you dropped the map? How?
She never realized it. She never realized that she lost her map.
Thing,
And you know what's weird
don't
too?
have your
is
map.
Maybe I'm just not remembering it. Do you ever mark the theater?
No, you.
I mean,
you do mark the theater because when you pick the map up as Abby and you look at the map,
Okay.
it has all the arrows
didn't
drawn
remember.
back and there's a big circle and it says museum and it has like down at the bottom it says like area 2, which is where
Okay.
all that
Yeah.
stuff.
And
All
it
the stuff
says,
you go through. I just don't remember.
yes.
Fuck Wolf Wall.
yeah, but that's-
or not Wolf. It was
The gate map, the
Yeah,
the
I know what you're talking
WLF.
about.
Fuck
and then-
Fedra map.
Yeah, and then like another thing was I saw this. It's like, and here's like another example of how they set up in the first game the characters a certain way, and then it just like kind of changed them in the second one. In the first one, what's the cannibal rapist
Oh,
in the first game?
David.
David.
Yes.
So like he asks Ellie her name, and she's like, I won't give you my name. So you're telling me a 14-year-old, she was 14, right? Something like that. So like a 14, 15-year-old
Yeah.
Ellie had more common sense than a veteran of survival Joel. That's another thing. And it's just because, like you said, Joel teaches her all these different things, and that's why she doesn't give out her name or trust that David guy too easily. And then Joel goes, it's completely against his character.
Yeah, but I think again, you won't. For me, I see that as he's been living in this civilized.
Yes, that's what I see as too.
Where
And I get what you're saying, but for me, it's like they were still going out and doing certain
Sure,
things.
but
so
I
it's
think
just-
I think his guard is dropped a little bit. Obviously,
When I think
living
he
in-
has, I think he has every right to, especially because you figure, when's the last time that he's like
right? We don't know that.
dealt
So
in a situation?
that's where it was
like
okay
that.
with me. But again, I understand.
That's the other thing. There's those 5 years in between,
Yeah,
so we
no.
don't know. But like,
And I
in
understand.
the universe, like, I guarantee you, there's conflicts that still.
Oh,
come up.
absolutely. I understand why you don't like that part. Just for me,
Yeah,
I don't think that affects it any way one side or the other. But
we just don't have as big of a problem with
Yeah.
it as which is fine. Again, it's all fiction.
Yeah,
I
my
love
only
this.
complaint, my biggest complaint with the game, not gameplay wise or anything like that, just strictly story, is how does she not pick up the map? That's
I
it.
agree.
That right there is the biggest just flaw, I think. Just
So Bailey's holding up a Sunday Night Football screenshot where it says, what does it say? 2020-42 Earth 0.
Sorry, I just
So
saw that real quick.
That's
on the timeline.
no, that's I think is a good spot to wrap this whole thing up.
Yeah.
You guys want to give your ratings?
sure. What are we rating on, Bailey?
We'll do out of 10.
The whole game, or are we going individually? Are we doing graphics, gameplay?
No, I would just do the whole.
The whole game, sure.
I'll give it at best a 6, in my opinion.
Jordan.
I think a 6 is pretty rough.
Well, Bailey doesn't have.
Yeah.
That's
because,
true.
Because to be fair to Bailey, you're not going to like this game that much if you don't like Abby.
Which is
because you're
fair.
playing as her
Which
for
is
half
fair.
the game, and he doesn't like Abby, so that
Yeah.
makes sense. That's
Um,
fair. While you think, I don't believe in rating anything on a scale of 1 to 10, but because I think that's I don't think that's fair to the actual content. I really enjoy the game a lot. I have a few flaws with it, kind of similar to what Bailey was talking. I think I made some of my points there what I didn't like about the game. I think the gameplay and the combat still isn't that great, and I think they gave you too many spots where there's too many enemies, like the waterway spot and the neighborhood spot. And maybe I'm just bad at the game too, which is also fine. I didn't have a huge problem with the story. There's a few things here and there. I really enjoyed the flashbacks. My other thing too with this game is there's not too many parts that truly stand out to me like the first one did.
I agree.
Which I think that's also due to the pacing of it, because in the first one you had the seasons, right? So something big would end one seasons, like the Henry and Sam example. Which one's the kid? Sam's the kid.
Sam's
So
the kid.
Sam turns, Henry has to kill him, and then he looks like he's going to kill Joel, but he kills himself. And then, boom, you're in the winter chapter. The winter chapter is unforgettable. If you played the first game, you know what I'm saying. But, so yeah, I mean, there's parts here and there, but it's not as memorable as that one, I think, in my opinion. But, yeah,
Would you guys say the first game's still better?
yes. For me, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the first one's
I
still.
like the environments better.
If we're calling, oh, go ahead, and then
I like the environments better. I like the I don't. I like the character a little bit better in the first one. But I think again, this isn't directly just to The Last of Us, but I think you got to be careful what you ask for a sequel to, because it can tarnish certain things for you, whether that's video games, music, novels, movies,
It's anything, any kind of medium.
Just be careful what you ask for sequel wise, because if it doesn't live up to your expectations, I'm not saying this is Bailey's point, but just in general, if it doesn't live up to your expectations of what you thought it should be, you're going to be disappointed. I think Naughty Dog did say that there's going to be people that don't like this game. There's going to be people that love the game. They knew it. I think they put out a good body of work for me.
And another thing that I do have a problem with, real quick, I just want to say is, like, I don't know if you guys have seen it. A lot of people are trying to defend the game. Like, you guys aren't doing this, so like, it's not like I have a problem with you, but people are trying to defend the game by saying that, like, if you don't like this game, you don't like the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, well,
or you don't like female leads.
there's a lot of politically.
It's not even none of that. Like the people, the complaints.
I think that's
people,
extreme.
That's
That's
what I'm
very,
saying.
very extreme.
So it's like then people are using that as an excuse,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah, I
listen,
don't agree with
I
that.
love Ellie's character. I don't mind playing as a female. I don't care that she's a lesbian. Like, I don't care that Abby is a trans character or whatever the fuck they want to say about her.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think of that.
I mean, Lily/Lev is obviously a trans character.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you were saying Abby was.
Well, people were saying she is. I don't know if she really is supposed to be or not. Like,
I think she's just fucking
built.
yacked. Like,
yeah. And then I don't care.
know.
Like again, because Lev's one of my favorite characters in this game, and it's a she.
Yeah.
That
Which apparently
is
I
a
didn't.
he.
Apparently I didn't catch.
Did you catch that?
I think you
I
both
can-
caught it, and I just
I
started
can
calling
see
him dude.
where people have determined that. I won't say whether.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm guessing that's what it is because
Right, but no,
the
but I'm-
guys shave their
Yes,
heads.
yes.
And
I do applaud.
yeah.
Going off your point though, but I do applaud Naughty Dog for not being afraid to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
not
what
that
I'm
it's
saying. There's nothing wrong
Not
with
that
it.
it should be a huge deal in 2020, but
It
it
shouldn't.
is. It is.
It
you know.
shouldn't be.
Oh, it's a huge deal.
Jordan, go ahead and give your ranking.
So
Or
I'll
your
say
rating.
one thing before I give my rating. So
That's fine. We're already at 2 hours, so let's just. We're here.
The only thing I want to see if they do make a part 3 sometime is I want to know if there's going to be any more interaction between Ellie and Dina. If Ellie's going to try and go
Okay,
back
so
and
real
forth.
quick, I don't want to make this longer than it has to be. I thought, where did you think Ellie was going?
I think Ellie's going to find Dina.
I
think
figured she
she's-
was going to Jackson because I don't know where else Dina would go, and that's another thing. We don't know how far they are from Jackson.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
We don't even know if they're in the same state.
They don't really give any.
No, there's no context. to
Yeah,
that
Because
part
if
at
you
all.
look out at the field, like there's nothing around
Yeah.
you, bro. There's
Which I
woods.
would have liked maybe a little bit more context of where that is, but that's fine. They don't
And
have
another-
to give
like,
that
another
context.
thing is, how many years did it how long did it take her to get to Santa Barbara? And then they go back.
Well, obviously that she looks older. When she gets to Santa, well, when you go to the JJ part, when they're happy,
And
she
then
looks
going to-
she looks notably older.
Yeah.
Her hair's a little shorter.
She's still kind of. She seems like mid-20s maybe.
I wouldn't even say that old.
Yeah, I
don't
think
it's that
she's
old.
still-
I feel
I
like
think she's still-
Ellie's what, like 18.
Well, she's 18 in the game.
So I'm thinking maybe like
No credit, she's 19 in the game. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking like 24.
no, I'm not even
I think
thinking
she's
that.
like in
I'm
the
thinking
20s.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
like 22.
And she got a life
Maybe
more
early
than I
20s.
do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, like, because we don't know how long,
Yeah.
like, is in between. So it's like,
And again, with that stuff, it's like you can only do so much.
And to be fair, age really is
20-hour
not
game.
that big of a importance. Yeah, it doesn't really matter how old she is.
No.
Right? I just
But it's just interesting. to think
yeah,
about.
I just hope that somewhere down the line, whether I don't even care if it's just Dina doesn't want to see Ellie ever again. I just want to see some interaction between them because I think it would be cool just to see what would happen down the line. They don't have to like each other. They can like each other. Whatever. I just want to see that story.
you want to see closure.
Yes, I want to see that story close.
And see,
Um,
I wonder if they had in mind that not having that closure is the downfall of Ellie's obsession with revenge.
Maybe.
Not losing Dina is
And losing her fingers to play guitar, because that guitar means a lot to her.
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
Those are the ramifications of obsession
Yeah.
with anything.
Yeah. Rating. If we're saying that the first one is like a 10, right? That first one's flawless.
It's close to it.
See, this is where I don't. This is a conversation. This is why I don't like using numbers.
No.
Because when you try to, so like if you're saying Last of Us 1's a 10 and you say this one's a 10, let's just say, you're saying it's this on the same level as, and I don't think I don't think the first game's on the same level as the second game technically.
No.
Gameplay,
No, well,
graphics, stuff like that.
no.
But the first one's better story wise. So how do you? But continue.
Well, in its time though, like when it first came out, it's obviously like the
Sure, but
graphics
Super
were
Mario
top-notch.
64 is a 10. Last of Us 1's a 10. What's that 10 mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
No,
but
I
you
get
also
what
got to
you're
look at the period, the time.
Sure,
period.
That's what I'm just saying.
Context
like,
is
in
everything,
that
you know
in
what
that
I mean?
period, right? If we're saying that The Last of Us was a 10 in that period, right? Like graphics, gameplay, story, all that. I'm saying this one is like an 8.5. I think
it's actually, I honestly thought you would have it a lot higher.
I think
Because you had less problems with it, I think, than I did.
So what do you give it? If you had to give it a rating, just tease me.
I don't think it's any. I don't think it's in that 9 range.
See, I do. I would give it a 9. The story isn't bad enough for me to knock it that much. The gameplay is not bad enough for me to knock it that much. My gripes with the game never truly ruined the game for me. There wasn't too much that got in the way for me.
See, for like me, for how I rated it, it's like for me,
But
the
I
graphics
also-
are a 10. I think the gameplay is like a 7.
I also
and
rate-
I think the story's like a 3.
I rate
So
I rate a lot of things pretty easily. I don't like to be down on things.
you see, for me, I was really critical in this game.
Well,
Yeah, you
where?
guys can tell
So
that.
so if we're doing it how you did it, Bailey, I'm thinking graphics is obviously a 10. Graphics are beautiful. Story, I think is like a 9, if not a 9.5 for me. I think the story is perfect almost. I think seeing both sides of what happens when you do these
The duality of it.
radically extreme things on both sides of the spectrum, and then how it merges.
And
I
seeing
think,
and seeing how
so
the
maybe
thing you do is one-
maybe I'm low. Maybe I think I
think
do
you're
rate
in
it.
9 range.
Maybe I do rate it higher.
before
then-
before we wrap up, I have one thing to ask Jordan in particular because Bailey, I don't think this applies to you. I'm almost done with God of War. And when you look back, with PS5 coming out, when you look back on the PS4, when we look back on the PS3, I think we thought of Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
As the game.
Yeah.
This, I think it's between this and God of War for me. When you think of sales and,
So, are you-
just big picture.
So are you asking me what game?
I'm
are
asking
we-
you,
What's
because
the PS4 game?
yes, because we're at that point. I haven't been,
I can give you 3 right now. Are you ready?
yeah,
Last of Us, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Last of Us 2.
Or yeah, Last of Us 2. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Last of Us 2. Or God of War,
I'll
Last
remember
of Us
this.
2,
I'll remember the PlayStation for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's one of my
3
favorite
games,
I played.
easy.
But
I
if you
think.
had to pick one, which one are you picking?
He's picking God of War.
No, I'm picking Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, really? I didn't realize you liked that game that much.
Okay, see, I'm going God. I haven't even beaten God of War yet, and that's going to be the game of the PS. When I remember the PS4, that's the game I'm going to remember. This last few moments
I
I just
never
played.
realized you liked Horizon that much.
Well, we're going to ramble
Yeah.
on if we don't do that. But I was just interested to see where he rated that against God of War. So
So it would go, if I'm rating those 3, it would go Horizon, God of War, Last of Us 2. But we'll discuss that later.
I like Spider-Man more than I like Last of Us Part 2.
I agree.
Didn't play
That's
Spider-Man,
a
so I
game.
don't have a
You better go fucking play Spider-Man.
don't have an opinion.
You should. It's really
Well, guys, that was really good. It was a great episode. We're 2 hours and 8 minutes in.
I mean, we knew it was going to be a long.
We knew it was
one.
going to be long, and
we got off. On
we had
a
some
few
good
spots.
conversation. We've been talking about a lot at work, and I think we've been both kind of extreme on both sides, and I think it was good to have that conversation and talk about some other fun stuff. So, I'm tired. This is an episode, man. This
This is our longest episode.
is
yet.
an episode. So, yeah, Night Shift episode 5. Again, I hope you enjoyed. Same thing as always. Like, share at _TNSP_ on Twitter. Patreon, The Night Shift.
Links will be in the description. All
Yeah,
this
we
stuff.
got. What is it called? Linktree.
Yeah, check out Linktree and our.
It
It's in
has-
our Insta. I mean, not Insta. Twitter bio.
Yeah, it has everything where we're at. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music now. We are on Google Podcasts. Apparently, somehow we didn't even do that.
I think
but
it's just because of Apple.
It's there. SoundCloud, YouTube. So, yeah. As always, like, share, feedback is always appreciated. And yeah, it's been the Night Shift Podcast. Peace.